What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Timeless Gamer Show, where our games and bodies may grow out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain. Hey, it's Timeless, and you can still check us out by going to the official website, timelessgamers.com. If you have any messages, comments, suggestions, or whatever, you can still send them to timelessgamers.show at gmail.com. Timelessgamers.show at gmail.com. And the show is now streaming live in Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And of course, our audio versions of our previous episodes can still be heard from going to the your major podcast platforms out there like Spotify and Apple Podcast. Previously on the Timeless Gamer Show, we roasted and reviewed the 2021 movie Mortal Kombat. Okay, so if you guys are curious on our opinions in regards to that film, you know where to go, you know what to do. On this special episode of the Timeless Gamer Show, another SEGA challenge. This time, all about some of the indie games that came out for the Sega Megadrive or Genesis. All right, and this idea is coming from one of the Sega Mega Masters panelists, of course, Sir Viraj, this time. Okay, so you might notice it's a little bit flimsy on the panel right now, but that's okay. We got you all covered. We got Sir Jose. What you got, Sir Jose? Hello.
Hey guys, I'm here to discuss some indie / homebrew Sega games that Viraj pointed out to us. It's gonna be a fun time. Some of them were really good. I'm wanting to see what Viraj liked so much about them and see what Sir Joe didn't, because I have a feeling he didn't like some of the stuff he played.
Yeah, they have a feeling I'll be bitching a lot this time around.
Oh, gosh,
Like-
here we go.
When was the last time I didn't? And of course, Viraj.
All right, yeah, this is my idea. I thought, okay, let's talk about Sega. Let's talk about them. You know, this is the Mega Drive. It's my favorite.
That's
console.
cool.
This is a case. This is a Japanese case of the Mini. So yeah, you know, why not? You know, it's a console that's near and dear to my heart, and I think, yeah, okay, whilst they're not a great power anymore, like they used to be, pre like sort of Dreamcast. The Mega Drive is still their most popular selling system in the West, and you know, there's, even though it's not really, you know, it's probably an afterthought in a lot of people's minds, there is still a lot of love and support for the Mega Drive hardware. Now there's a huge homebrew scene going there. That's predominantly down to the fact that as a piece of hardware, there's a development kit that was made for it that's easy to program for, and a lot of homebrew developers have jumped onto that. And there has been a number. I mean, we're just going to talk about 6 games today, but there are a lot more homebrew games for this thing, and there's a lot more coming for this. This is a system that will just never die, and there's just a lot of support for it. So we're going to have some fun. We'll talk about these 6 particular games, but you know, fundamentally, the Mega Drive hardware is, you know, easy to program for, and that's partially due to them choosing that Motorola X68000 CPU on it. It's basically easy to take on new programming languages like C. Even now, it's still relevant. Sadly, this little beast, you know, an older processor they put in this, even though it's a newer system than the Mega Drive, doesn't make it easy to program for. That's why we don't get as many homebrew games on it as we do on Mega Drive. Not that I care anyway, since I prefer Mega Drive hardware anyway. But further ado, we'll begin with our first game, unless there's anything else that you gents would like to sort of bring up. This is something you want to show and tell and talk about. Any new pickups you guys have got?
Show it out.
Let's do it.
Show it out, guys. All right, in this segment of the show, we just show and brag the stuff that we acquired for the last few days or so.
All right.
Whether it's video games, music, movies, books, paraphernalias, memorabilia, whether physical or digital. Let's go with Jose. What you got?
I got this little pile right here. So I got the Final Fantasy 1 through 6 collection on Switch. It's very Switch heavy. It's very Switch heavy.
Okay.
I got Viraj's favorite Pokemon.
Oh, get out of here! Get out.
Scarlet?
Yeah, Scarlet with the DLC.
Oh.
I got finally after like so many years of debating on getting this, I got the Final Fantasy 7-8 twin pack.
Oh yeah, well done.
Which is
With
only a
9.
digital game. Boo.
Yeah.
Uh,
Then I got 9 to go with it because why not? And then Miss Hina would probably like this. I got Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar,
Ooh.
that's
the
pretty.
premium
Is
edition.
that one on sale?
It's a nice
Yeah.
little box.
Wow, really?
And then I found this at the thrift store for $3, brand new. It's Angry Birds trilogy for the PS3.
Well, hey,
I couldn't leave it there for $3.
Oh, only $3.
hey, listen, you can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with that.
Very
Okay.
nice. I like the Story of Seasons collector's edition over there. We really should do a collector's edition episode soon. Eventually.
Hmm.
Nice.
All that cool stuff.
What does it? So what does it? What does it include?
It's the game, 20x14 full color fabric poster, 2-disc CD soundtrack, 120-page art book, and a 3x5 Suffolk sheep pocket plushie.
Whatever makes you happy, right?
Yep.
Whatever. What makes Miss H happy? From now on, we will call her Miss H.
All right.
I thought he was
Or hentai.
Mr. H.
Mr. H. There you go. All right. So I only have like a couple, maybe. So I got this one from our retro video game store here in Brisbane. Oh, actually, I got this one from Gold Coast. It's the Fantasy
Original
Star
Fantasy Star, the Master System.
or the Master System. Yes.
wow.
And I still have yet to test this out because I'm looking for a cheap Master System converter so I can play it on my
Oh, yes, okay.
on my Megadrive.
Yeah.
See, so I still have yet to test this one, but the store clerk says it does work,
Yeah.
and to my surprise, this one here has, I'm not sure whose idea was it. Maybe the previous owner has this one. It doesn't have the original manual, but they did manage to print out their own manual.
Oh well, it's better than nothing, right? I mean, come on, man. It's been
Right.
This game is what it's nearly 40 years old, isn't it? Yeah, this game is nearly 40
Yeah,
years old.
so they printed out their own manual, like they just used an A4 piece of paper and then printed them, and then printed this, and then cut them up to make sure that it's barely barely fitting on the manual clips right there, and I applaud them on that. And I'm like, okay, so how much are they charging for it? Okay, you know what? This kind of cost me a lot, only because of that makeshift manual. But hey,
It is what it is. It's
and
better
then
than
of course,
nothing.
so with that on, so I practically have Fantasy Star 1, 2, 3, 4.
You got the
The
quadrilogy.
original quadrology. I already got it as a set. I was able. I was able to finally complete that one. And then, this just came out yesterday. The worldwide release of Trails in the Sky. There you go. If you might notice, they dropped the Legend of Heroes, so it's no longer Legend of Heroes. They just call it Trails in the Sky. And I mean, understandably so, because if you're gonna ask the recent JRPG players right now, they don't really call it Legend of Heroes. We just call it as Trails games. Okay, and that's fine. Story about this. At first I thought I was getting the PS5 version of this, and then I didn't notice when I pre-ordered it. It was a Switch version. So when I went there to our local EB Games, I'm like, oh shit, it's a Switch. They didn't have the PS5 version, unfortunately. So what they were doing is that unless you pre-order it, they don't really stock it in our EB Games. And I'm not sure if this is a common practice re- uh, w- on with the recent game retailers right now. Like
Mm,
if people don't pre-order it as much, then why would we stock it?
that's
It's
correct.
just
Going
a
that way
waste
now.
of
Yeah.
shelf
Yeah,
space.
because what's going to happen is it's going to sit on a shelf. It'll go on sale. We're not making our money. And the way physical media is going now,
Mhm.
unless you've pre-ordered this thing, they'll make it for you. You'll get it. They'll get their money. And that's the way things have gone. And I worked in retail where there was so much physical media, and so much of it was also sold at vast discounts, and they made barely enough money or a loss. What's that? So I understand why they're going that way. So I can totally understand why they go.
Yeah,
You want to buy a physical game that you got your heart set on? Pre-order it, I say. But anyway, sorry, that's
that's the thing. So I checked online, and apparently, so they pulled out the PS5 link for it, but the Switch link is still there. And if then I checked again just this morning, the only stores that carry a stock of the PS5 version, there's like one or two games in their stock. It's like a few kilometers drive away from our house, and I don't love the game that much.
Yeah,
Okay, I already finished the game in
get it.
in the PSP and the Vita, and I'm like, I'm only buying it just because of they're fully 3D rendered.
Yeah.
But the storyline is pretty much the same.
Hmm.
And so just I said, okay, I'll probably end up buying the PS5 version eventually. Although it's just a little bit it's a little bit jarring to think that this is a Thrills game, though. I mean, like, yes, JRPG players. I mean, we are out there. I'm guessing there's not a lot of the Australian community, the JRPG community here in Australia.
Correct.
Maybe
Correct.
it just doesn't
No, that's it.
trend as much as.
You hit the hammer on the
Right.
nail. Yeah, you hit the hammer on the nail. It's a niche thing,
That's
and
the
you have
thing.
to pre-order it. You have to pre-order it. And
You have to
even
pre-order it.
that mirrors. I think that mirrors even in certain parts of the UK as well. I think as much as there's a huge following for JRPGs on the internet, it's just that you're also sparse where you live. And you're not dense in certain. Maybe in some areas in Japan, obviously, it would be very dense, and they'll have to have enough copies. But I think you have to make sure that you pre-order your JRPG and you get it. I'll say that straight up, because whilst it's still a popular genre, it's not as popular as a lot of these mainstream populist games.
It's not as popular as before, like maybe
Mm.
back in the PS1, PS2 era.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I'm not saying that the genre is dying. I don't think it will ever die, personally. I think there's always new people that will get into JRPGs, etc. But I think interest can wane in some communities, and I think that's down to the developers making games that may not appeal to people anymore. That there's franchises, developers that don't make games that people may want to buy, and people might feel a bit burnt, or they'll wait and they'll think, oh, we'll look at the reviews and see what they say. I think people aren't rushing to buy games on release. I think there's something to be said about that. But we're going off.
Which is weird, though, because I see a lot of sports games always going to the bargain bin, and I'm like,
yeah, because
get rid of those.
Yeah,
Get rid of sports games. Nobody cares about them sports games. get
Anyway.
JRPGs out there. Anyway.
I'm still playing this thing, Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Not really giving it much time. This is physical. I had to buy this physical because you can only buy it digital in my country. But yeah, I've been having fun with this. Haven't really had much time to play it, sadly. So there's this, and there's this thing here. I pulled it up showing you, Super Nintendo. It's actually a colleague of mine who's giving me this to modify. These are still very popular, It's been out, since 2017, but these I do see these on the bay every now and then, and they go up in price this time every year, like towards Christmas. That's when these get popular. People want to relive the Super Nintendo experience, and a wife will get it for her husband, and vice versa. A spouse will get it for someone thinking they'll enjoy it. I think the biggest mistake people do is parents buy these for their little kids, thinking that they'll enjoy it, and they don't play it because they think, what is this garbage? That's what you grew up with, and sadly, it's just out of time. So these circulate quite a bit now these days. So bit of fun. Right. Anyway,
on to the show.
To the main subject, which is Sega Megadrive and the indie games for it now. So without further ado, let's introduce the first game. Now, the first game is called Life on Mars, by a developer called Kai Magazine Software. Now, this game came out officially in 2022, and but really most people manage to get their copies in 23 because one thing I'll say about this as a company is they take a very long time to ship your games when you buy it from them. My friend Steven bought his copy and it took so long to get it, and he's got another game from them or whatever, but they take a while. Now I've picked this game because out of all their games, the one that I like predominantly, and I think it stands out from the rest to some extent. And as you can see, it's got some really interesting pixel art. There's a story attached to it. It's a very dark story that it comes with, and I would say it's got very strong Metroidvania elements. It's an adventure game. That's its genre, and it's a game where you land on Mars. There's been something's happened, and you have to see what's going on. And you play as the lead character, and you enter this facility on Mars, and you have to see what's going on. It definitely has, as you can see, it's a science fiction, very strong Metroidvania style. And in a world now where we don't see much Castlevania, okay, because Netflix are making more Castlevania than Konami are, it seems. And we get a Metroid game. Okay, recently Metroid's been good, but Metroid games come far and few between. And there are a lot of other studios making Metroidvania, so credit to them. There's a Hollow Knight Silk Song that's just come out, which is great, and there's a few others. But, there's nothing wrong with more 16-bit Metroidvania titles, and this one's on the Megadrive. And as the Megadrive doesn't have a game like this, why not, right? So, you play as this character, you shoot around this facility, you got a map, and you level up like you would. So you get extra weapons, you get extra powers, etc. As you delve into this adventure in this facility to see what went wrong and why these people have been zombified in this facility and what the mystery is. So a very interesting story if you like science fiction for sci-fi fans. It's definitely a challenging game for sure in how it plays and how you get deeper and how the boss battles are. So I'll definitely give it that. For those of you looking for a challenge, this is the game for you. Very eerie in terms of its music and how it plays through. I wouldn't say there's anything groundbreaking in terms of the sound here, but it's an atmospheric soundtrack. Going through it, I enjoyed the game for what it was. And I think it's one of the better AAA newer indie releases for the system. So that's my thoughts on this. And in all fairness, my only real critique for this game is how it controls. Use the 6-button controller. So you do need a 6-button controller to play this game. I just want to put that out there because you've got a button which does something which the other doesn't, etc. So you have that because you need one for the map to get the map screen or whatever. And you do have to be able to sort of read through the text and know what you're doing. So it does involve quite a degree of thought and strategy. But yeah, otherwise, it's I think it's a good game. But the controls are a bit iffy, I will say that. And that's my main critique with Kai Magazine Software and all their games predominantly. I haven't played all the others such as Metal Dragon. And there's also a sequel to this because this game was successful enough to make Life on Earth, which came after, which is a different style of game, which is a side-scrolling action game. But then I like what they're doing. At least they're putting the best graphics and the best of they can in a game like this. Recently, they've brought out a new game called Secret of the Four Winds, which is a new Mega Drive release. But generally speaking, it's a good game. I just wish that Kai Magazine Software worked more on the way that the game controls, and that's what my main critique on this. I'm just curious to hear what you two thought of this game when I like pointed it to you, and what your thoughts were when you played these games. So I can see Sir Joe's chewing something. So I'll go with you, Jose. What did you think about this game?
Well, when I first played it, what the fuck is that?
What is that? Yeah. Euphemism there, whatever that is. But anyway,
when I played it, I was like, first, he kind of looks like Master Chief, kind of a little bit. I was all like, okay, and then the game started. Man, those robots are no joke. I was like, I was at first, and I get what you mean about the controls because I was having trouble like moving around at first, and and I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna skip these guys because they're just annoying and not dying. And then like there's like a million guys on the screen at once, and I was just like, whoa. I was like, what the hell? I was like, my gun isn't even that strong. Like, what am I?
Yeah,
supposed
it's
to do
weak.
here?
You have to level up your powers, and the gun does get stronger. And also, you got that energy gauge. You can see in that little window there, so you have to wait for the gun to charge if you shoot.
Oh yeah, that kept happening too.
That's an interesting mechanic. Yeah, so it is tough. It is a tough game, and yes, you're right. One of the great things about the Megadrive hardware, which you touched on, is it had a very good processor, so you can actually have a lot of enemies on the screen at once. Something Nintendo couldn't really do that well without slowdown. So you're right. It can be overwhelming in certain areas. So there we go. But
yeah,
please continue.
I didn't get too far in it. I ended up dying, and I was like, I need to give this more time, and I'm gonna go back to it and just really try to figure out the game and see how far I can get, because it looks like it will be a good time. It's just that I didn't expect it to be as hard as it was when I started.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard. There's no joke about it. It's hard because I think they had criticism because the game before it was a top-down shooter, and
muted, I think.
Sorry, what did you say?
Is it just me?
What's just you? Did you hear something? What happened? Have you lost?
Did anyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you. Well, okay.
Not hearing this.
Has he lost audio? He's lost audio. So those of you hearing anyway, I'll wait until he gets his audio back. Oh, great. Unless you're not. Yeah, he's not muted. Oh, you're not muted. Mr. Birchall's in the comment section commenting. He's a Sega fan. Oh, he's got to sort out his headphones. Is it me? Where is it? He's lost his ability to hear.
There we go.
You hear me now?
There we go. Yeah. Okay.
Something got pulled out. But yeah, it's a very difficult game. It is a very difficult game. I would say it does involve patience, and I would say it's something that takes time. But as you level up and get more powerful weapons, it gets a bit more easier, I would say. But it's still a challenge, and the boss battles do take a long time. I think there's a lot of absorb some sponges, what they call. They just take damage sponges. That's what I'll say. The bosses do take a lot longer to kill than they should, in my opinion. But other than that, I think it's a very well presented, decent game. But yeah, so you was anything extra you wanted to say?
No, just I'm gonna have to give it another try this time, now that I know how hard it can be, and work on doing the upgrades like you said, and then seeing how it goes from there. I'm really interested to see more of the game though.
It is a well-made game for what it is. I mean, it was like I was saying earlier before we had this technical issue. They said so there was a game before this. There's a top-down shooter called Metal Dragon. So it was the game they had. It was the first Mega Drive game that they had, and that was quite easy to get through. And they probably wanted to make their second game a bit more challenging. So I'm just assuming here that's why this game is a lot harder. But for me, this is a much more fuller game than they've had since then, because there was Life on Earth after this, which in my opinion was a side-scrolling game, and it wasn't as deep as this game. And they've brought out Secret of the Four Winds, which I haven't really given a chance, and that's the more recent game. And they've got another sort of Western shooter like Sunset Riders style game coming out soon. So they are making newer games. They've been under a lot of criticism recently because there were, I don't know, people have actually seen that they've stolen assets from other games. So they've literally copied and pasted spite work. And so Climb Magazine are under a bit of heat for that. But other than that, I think they make generally decent games for what they are. I mean, they're usually above tier of other indie developers for Mega Drive that we might find. I hope James is all right with finding the stream okay without any lag. But anyway, I like the game for what it is. I think it's interesting. It's got a dark look to it. Has an interesting atmosphere, and I'm a big science fiction nerd, and I love Alien, and it's got that sort of aliens vibe to it in terms of the feel of it, and the design around it. So that's my thoughts on that. But yes, you're right. It involves a lot of time. You know, you have to literally focus on it as you would with a lot of Metroidvania games. It's not a game that you can sort of put down and then revisit a month later because you'll forget where you were. You have to keep consistently playing it from start to finish. But yeah, you're right on that one. Right, so Joe, anything that you have to say about this game you want to say? Unless there's anything else left to say from you, Jose.
All right. Before I start ranting,
Okay, here we go. So, we
Um,
can try this.
so when Sir Viraj mentioned, so we should when he posted the challenge to do the Sega indie games episode, we said okay, we agreed on okay, 6 games with variety of gameplay style, and won't you know it, the selections that he made, I'm like, yep, this is definitely the games that he likes. You throughout the course of the show, you'll realize there's a certain pattern here. Okay, so I did manage, so I did manage to find the games, and I played all of them using my Mega Drive version 2, using
Mm,
the EverDrive, and with my Mega EverDrive X7, I was able to play all 6 games.
mhm.
Uh, there are a few. There's like maybe 1 or 2 games that gave me problems. I'm not sure if it's a compatibility issue with my EverDrive, or maybe
Mm,
just the ROM file is not really matching well with my system. But in regards to it, Life on Mars,
mm.
you would think that in this futuristic environment, they would have given your main character with a decent gun, with a decent weapon. All right, all that technology or going to space, can't he have a better weapon? No.
No.
But yeah, I understand what they were aiming for here. Okay, leveling up your gun, but come on, I, maybe it's because I'm used to thinking uh, all shooter games will kind of place like Contra, like one bullet will kill an enemy.
Mm.
Here, no, like it would take like what, 5 shots just for a single robot just to go down,
Well,
and
yeah.
even like 10 or 15 shots just to take down a freaking zombie.
Yeah.
The zombie
Yeah.
takes a whole lot of while to kill
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
robot.
Well, these are
And
infected people, and they've allowed themselves to be able to keep moving with just one shot in them. They're a zombie.
okay, first of all, stop defending this game. Okay, right? You would
True.
think that okay, they're still carbon life forms. They should be easier to kill,
But they're possessed.
right, compared to the robots. No, God forbid, sure, they got infected. Like infected with what? With titanium virus or something? They're very so difficult to destroy. Although that being said, there are certain the exploration here is I don't want to say it's unbalanced, because there are certain places here that you might end up going that you're not fully prepared for. You might end up in a place where your weapon is not strong enough to handle the certain enemies. So
Mm.
so you have to uh, because this is an indie game, and I'm not sure if there's like a strategy guide or a
Mm.
walkthrough somebody made that will at least assist you on where the hell do you go, like where the hell do I go here, right? And for the most part, I was able to reach the. I don't even consider it like a floor boss, but I want to consider it like a floor boss because it has this. It showed in the on the gameplay footage earlier. It has this life bar, like a lot of life bar, and it
Yeah.
took me like a few tries just to figure out the pattern on how it attacks. Um, if there's anything good that I can say about this game, I like the detailing of the visuals. Out of all of the 6 games so far that we're going to present here, this is the most clean, clean and detailed. That's what
Okay.
I'm gonna say. Okay. Oh, it doesn't look like a six. It's for the Sega Genesis, but it doesn't feel like a 16-bit game.
Mm.
I don't I don't know how to explain it. Like maybe a 32-bit game, maybe, or something that or something visually kind of looks like something that you might play on a Game Boy Advance.
Well, it's
If that makes sense.
well, the
I
Game Boy
mean,
Advance is
yeah.
32-bit, but then I would say, look, what we have to be mindful of is back in the day when Mega Drive and Super Nintendo games were being made, developers had a very short turnaround time, so they didn't have much time to make these games. Whereas these guys have had a longer time to make a game and focus a lot on the attention to detail. So it is actually 16-bit. The reason it doesn't look 16-bit is because they've had so much time to make it look pretty. And that's one thing I will say about this game. It is certainly pretty, that's for sure, in terms of the way the animation.
Well, it does look pretty. I mean, you can tell the enemies from each other. Okay, you can pretty much distinguish the environment and the pseudo 3D visuals that they're trying to pull here. And yeah, I mean, I would say if they're aiming for people to play this game, I don't remember having like an easy or that you can adjust the difficulty.
There is.
settings.
I think one of the things I didn't like about this, actually, I will say, is when you go into the options menu, I would have liked to be able to go into the controls and toggle certain button mapping. So for me,
yeah, there's not a lot. There's not a lot of you can do.
These
There's
should
not
be
really a
jumped
lot
and
of you
these
can
should be
change.
do-
No.
Yeah, you can't change the buttons. You have to get used to the button layout. And I suppose if you're any real gamer, you'll get used to it. I suppose that's what people say. But I would have liked the C button to be jump. But anyway, yes, you can't configure it. So it is what it is.
Game, I would say they have the Metroidvania fans in mind. Like if you're the type of player who's a little bit more accustomed to the Metroid or Castlevania kind of gameplay, this would be the game for you. But if you're like a beginner, I'd say start with Metroid or just Castlevania straight up.
I think I would say
Those games are a lot easier compared to this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say Metroid is definitely an easier game than this. That's for sure. I think this is the next step after Metroid. If you want more of a challenge, I'd say that. I think there are some later Castlevania games which got even more difficult than this. I would say, with Harmony of Dissonance and even Circle of the Moon on the Advance, I'd say it's a very challenging game. But I think it's a very good game. I think it's one that I'd recommend to people who are into this sort of stuff. The question is, would you two gents? I mean, would you recommend this game? That's the question.
I would say
yes.
but
Is it a good game? That's it. Is it good or bad? I mean, that's what I'm saying to you, really. Is it a good game, or was it something you'd recommend to someone?
I don't want to say it's good or bad because I haven't played enough of it to say.
Well, what's your first impression of it? That's the question.
But my first impression is it seems like it's going to be really good. I was looking to see if there was anywhere else I could play it, and there is a version of it on Steam, so I might jump into that one.
Yeah, I think it's a port of the MSX. They made an MSX version of this first, and this has been ported to the Mega Drive. So that's another way you can play it if you really care about the MSX too. I mean, look, it's accessible. It's accessible, and if you want to support the developers, you can buy it from Klein Magazine Software's website. You can just search it on Google and find it. Right. Okay. What about you, Sir Joe? Any final words for this game?
This game is decently done. I would recommend it to those people who, like I mentioned earlier, I would recommend this to those people who are already accustomed with the Metroid, Castlevania kind of gameplay.
Yeah.
Again, if you're a beginner, and if you wanna try this, I'd say have a strategy guide ready, okay, to make it easier for you. Okay. All right. This is one of those games that will end up frustrating you. Depends on how much you can tolerate. That's all I can say. And this is coming from a JRPG player, okay, guys.
Okay.
Years of playing JRPG, I already lost a lot of hand-eye coordination. Okay, so take it from me, who's not really into this kind of games, but I was able to. If I managed to get into to the first floor boss, I mean, chances are you might do better than I did.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so we're done talking about this game. Let's move on to the next one. Let's have a look at the comment section and what people have had to say. So you got James Birchall, made a few comments here. Yes, anything that looks like Turrican is something that will set me off because Turrican is an outstanding run and gun game. And yes, I love the Game Boy Advance, James. You know, that's a format that's very near and dear to my heart. Right, so the next game we'll go to is it's a Mega Drive release. It came out. It's probably the earliest out of all these 6 games that's come out after market, and that's a little known game called Pier Solar and the Great Architects. Now, this game was released in 2010, so some time ago now. So we could say it's quite a retro indie game for the Mega Drive. We could say it's over nearly 15 years old now. But I still think it holds up to today, and it celebrates the Mega Drive's 20th anniversary when you boot it up. Now, this game was really interesting when you played it on original hardware because you got the cartridge and you had the CD-ROM that came with it that would go into your Sega CD, and you have the option to have the FM soundtrack or the PCM sort of Red Book audio soundtrack, so you could actually listen to, real CD sound. So it's really quite interesting for what it was, because it's one of the very few games that actually allows this feature to happen on Mega Drive and Mega CD if you had both bits of hardware. It did get re-released on Dreamcast that same year, and there was a HD version and there was a Wii U version. It's released on modern consoles, so you can play it on PlayStation 4, PS Vita. I'm sure it's available on Steam, but don't quote me on that one. But it's had a number of re-releases. So yeah, it was developed by Watermelon Studios, which are in disrepute now because of their behaviors with another game that they've developed and published afterwards, which we can touch on later. However, this is a role-playing game, first and foremost. It is a game that a lot of effort was made in developing it, and it was then released. And it's something that I found out about years later. It was something that I knew about until 5 years ago. So here we go. It's a top-down, turn-based RPG that I think is quite marvelous for what it is. It even said on the back of the box, for those of you who liked Phantasy Star 4 and Chrono Trigger, were inspired by those games, so we made this. Although I don't really see that much DNA from either of those games when playing this. I think it's very much its own thing when playing it. And really, the synopsis is, you play the role of the main character, called Hoston, and he's in this village of Rager. You can hear his father coughing away in the house that they're in, and his mother's worried. He's worried, because he's been poisoned, or is he going to die? What's going to happen? And I think what I like about this game is it sets up a plot and a story that sort of makes you think, God, I've got to do something. This is my dad. I've got to save him. So he meets his friend Nalina and Edisot, and they set out to discover a cure to save his father, and that's the first chapter of the game. So you meet your friends up, you get all tooled up, and you head out to the forest outside, and you discover things, and that's where the adventure truly begins. What do I think about this game in terms of how it plays with the battle system? I think it's pretty solid when you get into these random battles in the areas that you're in. I like the items and the weapons you can collect. I like the story dialogue boxes. I like the art direction. I like the music. I think it's a fantastic game, and definitely a nice addition to a system which did actually have quite an anemic RPG library. And that's not me making fun of Mega Drive. I think the RPGs that have are great, but it's nice to have an addition and to what we have, and a great RPG experience for the Mega Drive. Again, it's available on other platforms. I'm aware of this, but this is the original and the way the game was intended. But it's a game that's very near and dear to my heart, and I think I'm about 2/3 through it right now, so I have a good feel of it. Definitely one that I'd recommend you play. I think out of the 6 games, this is actually probably the one I've invested the most time in, and my favorite. Now, I know James Birchall said, we don't talk about Watermelon, and that's because of, sadly, it's their own stupid mistake and what they did afterwards. And I'm sure those of you in the comment section are aware with their follow-up game, Paprium. they took people's money and they didn't promise. And I know about 4 people who spent good money on that game and they never got their copy. And they had to go on the Bay. A couple of them went on the Bay and paid a premium because they're such fans of the Megadrive. They had to buy it, and they spent hundreds more dollars than it was worth. I'm not going to say what they spent just to have that game, and it wasn't even that great because now they've hacked. They managed to get the game. You can pirate, and I suppose if there's any studio that deserves to get pirated, it's them. We don't advocate piracy on this channel. I just want to put it out there, but this lot, for what they did, it's horrible. But anyway, I didn't want to talk about Paprium because it's not even available. This is a game that's easy to access, and it's still a game that you can get very easy. So that's my thoughts on that. What about yourself, Jose? What did you think about this game?
I really like this game. This is a game I was probably most interested from the ones that you gave. Because I grew up playing RPGs like on the Super Nintendo and stuff, so I was really excited to try this out. And I don't know if it's just like it playing, but it does this thing where it almost like looks like it like stutters when you're moving around. And I was like, what the hell? That's weird. And it does this thing that I don't like where you're holding a direction and you're going and like you hit a wall and he starts moving around it or like somewhere because I will go to turn and then he keeps moving because he was already starting to move. And it was just so weird to get into doors sometimes.
Okay. Yeah.
But I like the battle system it has. The music is good. I like the characters. I like how, like, when it would introduce a new character, there'd be like a full screen art of them, like, hey, like, this is them.
Yeah.
I only got to the first boss because obviously there was no way I was gonna finish this game. But it is a game that I really want to go back to because I want to see the rest of it.
The story gets. One thing I'll say, because you've only got to the first bit, the story gets richer. It really does explode when you get past the first bit, and you think, oh my god! So it's just more than saving your father. It's more than all these other things you have to do. There's bigger stakes here. So I will say it's a game you should stick with because if you like stories in RPG, this one's really special. So I'll say that much. But I totally agree with you in terms of your critique on the control of the character in the wall and trying to get him through doors. That is a bit of a tricky bit. Minor nitpick, I'd say, with that one. But anyway, what about you, Sir Joe? What did you think about this game?
A few things. Okay, this is one of those games that gave me problems. So the ROM that I got, apparently, so what happened was I was able to reach the first the caves, the cave that they were supposed to get the herbs, and then I saved it, turned off my Megadrive, and then when I turned it back on, because I saw I did something. And then came back for it, turned the thing on, and apparently it kind of crashed and it deleted my save file.
Well, that's
so ain't no way I'm gonna restart all of this back. So like I said, I'm not sure if it's just maybe I don't know. Maybe I just got a bad ROM. So I'll see if I can try again. I'll look for a different ROM and then I
play it on the mini.
If I can, yeah. That's what I thought. Maybe I can. Maybe I'll fare better using the Megadrive Mini. So for what I can tell you, all right. Like Sir Jose mentioned, I like the art form, the the illustrations that they have when they're introducing some of the characters. If there's one thing, so when Serviraj mentioned they took inspiration from Phantasy Star 4, I think that's as far as you can go. Just the illustration, right?
Yeah.
Playing this on the Mega Drive and using my so I'm using a SCART cable, right? And on my TV, on my HD TV, it's not as clear and crisp like what we see here on the gameplay footage. Everything is so very scattered. I mean, it's not very well crisp. So, and I'm using the RetroTink upscaler here. So maybe I'll try tweaking a few settings just to make it look clearer. That being said, it didn't made it. I mean, despite what it looked like on my screen, it's still playable. Characters here, I like I like the way the dialogue runs in here. Like they, the dialogue here does not give a fuck, and that's
Mm.
what I like. The thing about 16-bit games, the 16-bit JRPG games, they talk very proper, if that makes sense. Here, like whoever, I mean, whoever did did the script for all the characters, they ain't kidding around. So
Mm.
they talk like South Park characters without the cussing,
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
it's very cutting. The
Um,
insults can be quite cutting. Yeah.
it's like most of your characters here are all teenagers, so
Mm.
they had this it kind of paints the mentality that if they're teenagers, they're supposed to talk like teenagers should, right?
Mm.
And I kind of like that. Gameplay wise, okay, the most important thing, I don't really partake on the idea that it can be so imbalanced at times. Like for
Mm.
example, all of your characters will be level 1, okay, at the very beginning, and one of the characters here that has the capability of healing, okay, is Elia, if I remember her name correctly.
Alina.
Elena. Oh, yeah, there you go, Elena. And the maximum the MP that she has is 90. It's like 90 points. And
Yeah.
for you to do a standard heal, you need 30 points. So that means level 1 Elena can only heal about 3 times maximum. And
Mhm.
this is a game where, and say what you will about the first dungeon, the first forest, even though that they are quite easy, the monsters there are quite easy to defend. I mean, to defend against. Eventually, you need to heal up. All right, and there, the workaround this would be beat a few monsters and then go back to the village so you can
Mhm.
rest up for free, and then go
Mhm.
back to the forest. That's fine. If you're grinding here is a chore. Okay,
It is to begin. It is to begin.
it's
It gets
very
better.
grindy.
It gets better.
It's very grindy at
Carry some
first.
herbs
Okay?
with you. Carry
All
some
right.
herbs with you.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm like, okay, for you to reach level 2,
Mm.
you'll need like what, 250 points at least,
Mm.
and the experience points that you get from the monsters here, I'm not
Mm.
sure if you're getting like, are you dividing the experience points among each other, or you're getting a fixed amount of experience points?
Mm.
Because I'm like, how many monsters do I need to defeat here just to get to level 2, right?
Yeah, that
Mm.
did. I was wondering the same thing when I finally hit 2. I was like, God damn, that took forever.
That took forever, right? And mind you, guys, I'm not and as a JRPG player, ain't nobody got time for that. Okay,
Yeah.
Oh, come
I
on,
don't.
man. Like, this is not an easy JRPG. This is more for the intermediate advanced JRPG fans. This is very, very tough to sort of get into. But when
No,
you
and-
when you
what-
when
what-
you get past the first bit, then you move on to the second bit. You'll find it easier to level up in time because you'll be fighting villains which actually you get a lot more experience from. But it's only 'cause
no,
you're
what
in
I'm
the
what
first
I'm
bit of the
guessing
game.
here is that my point here is that do you really need to grind that much just to get to level 2? Like what's the power scaling here?
Yeah, I understand. It's not quantifiable. You don't know what it is. It's a bit of a mystery there, grey area there. But then sometimes maybe is knowing too much. It's having that mystery or having that when am I going to level up or it's
Yeah,
you
but
do need to know like when how much more to the next level or how it
no, I
all
mean, I'm only saying this as a nitpick because
Mm.
if going to introduce this for seasoned JRPG players. The amount of time for you to grind, and there are some people who like the grind a lot, but you really need to have like a good balance.
You need to have
out of it.
patience. Yeah, I think this game to
Okay.
begin with, you need a bit of patience in regards to leveling up bit. But I will say this for you two gents, once you've got past the first bit and the adventure really begins, it comes second nature. You will level up, you will get stronger, and the game flows a bit more. I would say yes in that first bit where you're in the forest, it is tough.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it might be a deal breaker for some people.
Yeah, I mean, that being said, you just picked up Phantasy Star, right? The original Phantasy Star. The grinding on that was horrendous compared to this. The grinding on that was horrendous to begin with. That's probably the hardest game, I would say, when it comes to the grinding.
Okay.
And number
All
two.
Right. I only played Phantasy Star 4 because Sir Dan won't shut up about it.
Yeah, because I won't either. That's the best RPG on the Mega Drive. You know, the Phantasy Star 4 is the best of that era, in my opinion. The Chrono Trigger fans will kill me for that. But I think that's
no. At least
already.
I enjoyed Phantasy Star 4 because of its story. I held on the way the story was being told.
It's the same with this game. It's the story of this game is great.
And if it wasn't for the for the problem that I had, okay, maybe I would have gotten a little bit further and enjoyed it more because because I was pulling from experience that this is oh my god, this is one of those games that you really need to grind your ass over. Yeah. Okay, I can live with that. Oh sure. You can only the MP points takes way too much a lot of points away from your mana pool. Okay, it's one of those games, I guess. Sure.
No, it's not. Give it time.
There's not a lot of healing.
You have to level
There's not a lot of healing items here that you can afford yet. Yeah. Okay, fine, sure. Yeah. Oh, the AI in here. Oh my god. If there's one, maybe if I was, I'm not sure if they decided this, but they decided to take it out. It's like assign. So because there's an AI function in this. If you don't like inputting manual instructions to each of your characters, there's an AI in this. Just not really AI, just automatic.
Automatic, yeah.
Yeah, because in some games, you'll set an AI whether your character only heals or will they only hit flying enemies or will they hit near enemies or far enemies. Here, no. So if you just put automatic, they will just do whatever they feel like it, right?
Yeah, I would. So, like, for example, don't use it. Don't use that feature. I don't use it.
Don't use the AI. You'll end up dying a lot quicker if you do. What else? Oh. What else to say about this game? If there's one thing I don't really see when Sir Vert mentioned, this game, like we mentioned, inspired by Chrono Trigger and Phantasy Star 4. I would say Phantasy Star 4 in terms of item management. I would say Lunar in terms of combat visuals. I would say Chrono Trigger and among other SNES JRPGs top-down map visual, if that makes sense. Because if you guys are paying attention to the game footage that we're showing you during combat, it kind of reminds you of Lunar among anything else.
I agree with you in terms of the look. It's more of a loot. It's funny how it says it's inspired by this game, but it has a lunar look about it. That's not a bad thing. I do think it's a very.
It's not a bad thing. Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
I think, look, fundamentally, it's a good game. It's a good little game for what it is. I think it has. If this was released during the time the Mega Drive or Super Nintendo was in its prime, I think this would get a lot of great reviews, just as well as Chrono Trigger or Phantasy Star 4. The thing is, it's a sequel. Well, it's a game that's come out many years after the fact that these games exist now. And maybe it didn't get the attention it deserved, but it is what it is. But I like it fundamentally. I know it's got. Well, you guys have just got to the first section. I'm just saying you should stick with it because it has some interesting story tropes, which you can compare with Phantasy Star 4. You have some interesting. So there we go. So
Okay,
let's look at the comment section here.
Just to address Sir James. All right, Sir James. Truth to be told, the only Dragon Quest game that that I have played only is Dragon Quest 8 on the PS2. The original Dragon Quest ones, I have not played any of those, but based from what I hear from the other JRPG players, yeah, they can also be grindy. All right, I'm not gonna pretend saying, oh, I as a JRPG player, this is too much for me. No, I can handle grinding. It's just that I don't have that much time to grind, especially when we were only able to get like a few days just to do the challenge when Sir Raj decided that we should do with this topic. All right, maybe if we were given like maybe a month or 2 months to prepare, sure, maybe. Anyways, that's all. I like the what else to say here. I like the so the dialogue. They also have this illustrations. Like they also show emotions. It's not just like their face. At least if they're happy, they have a happy face. If they're angry, they have an angry face. If there's dramatic or sad moments here, they will show it. So it kind of adds a little bit more. It adds a little bit more emotion in the even though you don't hear any voice work in this, you kind of understand the weight of the situation there.
You know, the tone. There is a tone in this game. It's definitely there. And the clarity is there. It is indeed a very deep story, and it touches you eventually. And it does get to you here. That's why I like this game. It makes me want to continue with it. And I promise you to, like, if you continue in this game, you stick with it. It will get better. There's a grind to begin with, but it's nowhere near as bad as the grinds of some of these games I've played years before this. So I definitely say stick with it. Again, who's this John Ross character? Today's my birthday. I'm 36. Well, happy birthday. So I've just scrolled up these comments.
Happy birthday. Is there anything more to add about Pierre Solar?
There's nothing really more to add. Give it a go. Like if you love JRPGs of the 1990s on SNES and Megadrive, you've got no reason to play this. If you like that sort of thing, this is your kind of.
Okay, so if I'm going, if maybe it's just me and Sir Jose. You being so I believe you own this copy, all right, and you're a little bit more familiar with this. If between me and Sir Jose, what version should we get if we want a physical copy?
Well, now that you've screwed yourself up with your Everdrive copy because it did it, like the Dreamcast version is the HD version, and there's the Wii U version. Actually, any other version other than the Megadrive version, I believe, are superior copies because there is I don't know. There's a PS Vita copy. Just have a look to see if it's the HD version because you have much more better animation with the little talking. You have a different art style. And the soundtrack is a little bit more enhanced on some of the newer versions. You might notice some different cues. So the newer versions, which are more in line with the PS4 or whatever, they're the HD versions. They're the ones that are worth playing. That being said, there isn't much in it. I mean, the game is still fundamentally the same. It's just the presentation you're buying and the sound. That being said, like I've got the CD version with I can change. On the Mini, I've managed to get it to work with the FM and the CD soundtrack. So I've managed to work it that way. So I don't lose anything. But in terms of the art style, it's much more enhanced on Dreamcast than all the other versions that they made afterwards. So the HD versions are a nice touch, and they're the ones that I'd recommend if you like that. Me, I like the 16-bit sort of style. I like that art, so I'll stick with it. But there's not much in it. It's just a presentation that you're getting. So they're the ones that I recommend getting. But that being said, like I said, Watermelon is one studio I don't want to give a penny to because of what they did with Paprium. That's another story. But anyway, moving on.
Moving on
from this, because we spent too much time on this game. Is I want to move on to the other game. So the other game in question is. So I just want to address something quickly before I move on. Okay. James Virtual mentioned, if you don't mention Doom Fusion, I'll screech at you with autistic rage. So Doom Fusion is an enhancement of Doom 1 and 2 for Mega Drive. That works with, I think it's with the CD. You can have a CD sound and it goes into the 32X or whatever. And it's an enhanced port of the Doom game with extra features. But the reason I didn't mention it, or we're not going to cover it, is because it's literally an old game that's been remastered so many times. and it's not something new and original, not that exciting that I'm going to go into detail about that game. So there you have it. Because Doom is a game you can play on any platform, and along with Doom 2 with enhancement levels now with PC. So there's that. Anyway, so the next game I want to talk about is a game by a company called Neofid. Okay, now they're a developer that I really like. They're actually my favorite new Megadrive game developer, and the game in question is called Demons of Asterborg. Okay, very interesting name, that one. Now, Neofid's a European developer for the Megadrive. Now, this game came out some time ago. So it's one of the older games. They've developed like 3 games for the Megadrive hardware. And this was their first one. And the reason I'm choosing this one is because it's available it's been out for a number of years, and it's much more accessible than Aster Bros, which is its follow-up sequel, and Demon's Claw, and they're all set in the same sort of universe, shall we say. But the reason I'm talking about Demons of Asterborg is because, well, I would say it's like their first game. It sets up the world that we're in, and it starts off with a story that tells you that long ago, this was the land. There were humans, and there were monsters, and there was a peace, and then something happened, and there's a story there, and something went wrong, and we now have to sort of deal with this war that's happening between the humans and the demons invading the humans' lands. Now, you play the role of Gareth, okay, and he was like sort of created under some weird circumstances. There's a backstory to that as well. And here you go. So this is an action sort of platform adventure game. So there's a lot of features in this game. So this came out in 2021. So there you go. But one thing I love about it is the animation around the character. There's a story here you can follow, and you're basically going after the main villain, and you're saving town after town as you go on this epic adventure. And obviously you go through each town, you get like these little things that level up your powers and abilities or whatever. I would say, and I know we talked about how that first game was Metroidvania, like in the newer Castlevania style. This has a Castlevania feel to it, but more like, say, a side-scrolling sort of like adventure style Castlevania feel to it. But there's more to it than that, to be fair. It's very much its own game. And, one thing I like there's a number of things I like about it, which is the art style, the controls for it. I think they're very tight. I like the music for it as well. And I love the story. I mean, there's nothing more that I'd want from this game. In terms of a challenge, yes, there is a challenge and there is an incline there. So when you get past the second level, it can get really tough. I mean, even the first level boss is pretty tough. So yes, it's an action adventure game. It does have action RPG elements as you do level up and get stronger from collecting those little red tokens when you take up enemies, and that's how you sort of level up through the game. So yeah, you could argue action RPG with adventure elements, but it is fundamentally at its very core an action game in how it plays and a platformer. I think this game is for everyone, fundamentally. I think anyone can play this game and pick up. It's not sort of restricted to certain people of a certain type of genre. I think if you like action RPGs or JRPGs, you can probably still get into this game because it's a level up there. For those of us who like an interesting story and like to follow Gareth and his adventures in, saving Asterborg or the realm of Asterborg from this demonic creature and the armies of monsters, yeah, this is for you. But yeah, I like it. I think it offers very interesting problem-solving tropes throughout the game as well. So yes, you need skill and a brain to play this game. But again, I think it's not something that will tax you too much. It's just, you just got to stick with it. That's my thoughts on this game. What about you two gents? What do you think? Let's start with you, Jose. What are your thoughts on this game?
This game, I actually enjoyed this game. I like the art on it. I like the gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
I like the mechanic where you can dodge and then like just rush behind someone and start attacking them just to dodge attacks. It's really fun. I only played as far as beating the first level, but that first level was really fun. I had lots of fun with it, and this is available on Xbox too, so I might buy it there just so I can play it some more.
That's correct. Yeah. there'll be a DX version coming out on the Neo Geo and Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, I saw that too.
I've actually pre-ordered the Game Boy Advance one. Of course, I did. And there's 2 editions of that. There's a special edition with posters and stuff, and there's the standard game edition. But I really want to back NeoFid as a developer for the Mega Drive, because one thing I really like about them is I actually bought this game legit as a ROM only, because you can buy it like hardware wise, but I didn't want to spend too much, so I just bought it as a ROM, and they let me do that. You know what I mean? They made it very consumerist, and this sort of thing is what beats piracy, guys. Like if you don't play on original hardware anymore, you're just waiting for someone to rip the ROM and play it anyway. So why don't you just let us buy the ROM? You know what I mean? At a fraction of the price of original, and they did that, and that's why I have a lot of respect for NeoFid. Out of all the developers, this is my favorite developer because of that fundamental reason, and they made a kick-ass game. This is actually like this and PSL are my favorite games, really, out the ones that we're mentioning. But great that they did that. All right. Okay, it's good to hear your thoughts on this. What about you, Sir Joe? What do you think of this game?
A few bitchings.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
One of the problems that I had with this game is the wall jump.
Oh, so skill issue.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All right. So we're going to address the skill issue. Okay. This is not a game for me. Okay. It is a skill issue game. This one for me. In regards with the wall jump, I was expecting like those kind of wall jumps that you just stick to the wall, not when you just. It's one of those. It keeps making the triangle jump, if that makes sense. So once you do a wall jump, it just goes straight to the other wall. I was hoping that sorry, do you know how the wall jump works in the Mega Man X games?
Yes. He's like sliding along there and boom.
Yeah. When you do the wall jump, you just stick to that said wall.
Yes.
You can just stick on that particular wall and then have the option to go to the other wall. This one, once you do the wall jump, it just goes straight to the other wall.
Yeah.
So in some certain platforms, like at first I thought I'm gonna reach it if I just keep sticking on the same wall. No,
that's not gonna happen. No.
Once I do a wall jump, it just jumps to the next wall.
Yes.
So that's just a nitpick from me.
Yeah.
In terms of the visuals,
well, they don't want to make
really
it
did. Yeah, I mean, they really did add more animation.
Yeah.
Animation figures in this, so it's not. There's a little bit more fluidity in terms of on how the characters move. This game is like a weird combination of Castlevania and Ghosts and Ghouls.
Ghouls and Ghosts? Yeah, Ghouls and Ghosts.
Yeah, kind of.
It's got a gothic look to it. Yeah, it's got a gothic look to it. Yeah. Halloween game. Halloween's around the corner, so this is one that you might.
In terms of the puzzles here, if I manage to figure it out, despite of the skill issue, you'll be just fine. All right. If I'm able to manage to figure things out by myself without the use of a guide or whatever, you'll do a lot better than I did. Although reaching that first boss, what is that? The executioner kind of boss.
Yeah, the executioner.
Oh my god. Okay.
Takes a lot of hit. He's a damage sponge. He's a sponge, yeah.
Right? And I'm like, oh my god, this is giving me Shinobi flashback all over again. Okay. Again, I'm not afraid to admit that there's a skill issue. Okay.
Right.
Like I said,
there's no
playing
shame.
RPG over the years just dulled all of my senses. Okay. That being said, if I invested a little bit more time on properly dodging and properly timing my attacks, maybe I could have fared better.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, there's not really much that you can there's no save function in this as far as I can remember.
There's SRAM.
So one
save function. So when you get past that level, there'll be So all these games I mentioned all have SRAM support, by the way. So this has SRAM. So it will save. I promise you.
Would have been nice if there's like a mid game save
What
function.
the hell, man? Get to the boss and then you save. Otherwise, you're not worthy
No,
of it.
man.
What do you think this
The
is?
idea is there's a
Nintendo?
save point before the
You
boss.
know?
God damn it.
This is not a baby game. Beat the boss, beat the executioner. You beat the first level, then it will save.
No, there should be a save point and then go to the executioner.
No,
That's how it should be. That's how things are being
it's
done.
not that
All
hard.
right.
The game punishes you. so
That's
you go
that how
crazy.
being done.
Okay, so how you
Okay.
get good at games is the game will punish you. You'll play it again. You'll get better and stronger. You increase your skill set, and you'll win. That's why you have a skill issue, my friend. It's because you don't want to try things the hard way and die. You're scared of dying. Look, we're all gonna die. Okay, it's normal. Just accept it. We're all gonna die. We get reincarnated. We start again. We get better in our next life, and we get through. That's how we do it. That's how we become strong.
You only get 3 lives in this, and then you start all over. Okay.
Yeah.
Just saying
Yeah.
this. Just saying it flat out. Okay.
You get extra lives.
3 lives, then
Before the level, you get
3 lives,
extra lives.
and then that's it. Okay. Although there is a health meter in here. Okay. Say saving
don't
grace.
die.
There's a health
You know,
meter.
the trick is
There's a
don't
health
die.
meter here eventually, but 3 lives and then you're out. Okay, and then you go back all the way to the beginning, unless
So
of
it's
course
not all the
you
way.
do-
It's not that
unless
hard
of course
to
you
get
beat
through
the
that
boss
level.
first, and then you can
It's not
save.
that
Sure.
hard. The first boss is hard. It's tricky, yeah? I'll give you that. The game is quite straightforward before you get to the first boss, yeah? So getting through that again isn't that hard. Okay, the
Hey,
fact that you have a skill issue...
don't,
is
don't take it
so I'm
from
not
me,
gonna
Sir Jose.
concede on that
Describe
one.
the first boss on your playthrough.
Okay, so you got like this executioner fellow, yeah? And he says something.
Oh
He
no, I'm
looks
not.
like
Don't answer, Sir Jose. You answer.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I got to the first boss, no problem.
Yeah, you got no problem.
And I think it only took like a few seconds to realize what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then I had no trouble. Like, the
You
thing.
meant to hit that rope thing to make the thing fall on
Yeah.
top of his head. Did
Yeah,
you
like-
know that?
So the idea, guys, is that you need to hit the rope that holds the guillotine from above his head.
Yes.
Okay, and it shows in this game footage right there. That's the executioner. So there's
Yeah.
like a guillotine hanging overhead, and the idea is for you to hit it just on the right time so that the guillotine hits his head, and eventually that takes a huge chunk out of his HP. And
Yeah.
unfortunately here, there's no indication if the boss is getting close in dying.
There's no life meter
In
for the
some
boss.
cases,
You don't know.
yeah, I mean, yeah. In some games, they will just flash red, or there's a health meter to indicate their health. Here, oh, good Lord, have mercy on your soul.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right.
that's
Anyway,
all. That's all I got to say about it.
all right, but you'll get through it. But then once you beat this guy, you'll be able to save. That'll be your reward. You'll be allowed to save. And there's a
What a cheap
shop-
reward that was.
and there's a
Oh,
nice
thank you
shop
for
where you
being.
can buy
Oh, thank you for
weapons.
being so considerate. Thank you.
And if you've collected some coins like a good boy, you'll be able to buy a new weapon in the shop. Yeah. Unless you like rush through it to the boss and didn't collect no money because you're broke, okay? Then you won't be able. Your game will just get harder. No. But anyway, let's move on to the next game because I think we're gonna split hairs about this. And let's have a look at this comment section. I don't know what they're talking about in the comment section. I think they've all gone off script here. I think they're still talking about Dragon Quest. or whatever.
I like the illustration of Garrett's like.
There's
Oh,
the babe in the shop. There's your reward. You got a babe in the shop with red hair. I think you like redheads. Look, she'll sell you something. There you go. See? But
Sir Dan likes the
this
red
Matt,
hats, yeah.
and that's where the game really begins. You can't even get past the first fucking level. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, this is bitching.
I mean,
You know what? It kind of reminds me of Dungeons and Dragons, the Mystara game. Yeah.
all right. So moving on to the next game. This is another hard game. So I'm gonna hear him bitch about this one. So this game's it's called Tanza. All right. So this was developed by and published by Megacat, who we've obviously had affiliations with this channel. And they're a leading indie developer, not just for Megadrive, but for Super Nintendo and other platforms as well. But predominantly, they do Megadrive and other things. I haven't really looked at their things, but I see more Megadrive than anything else. But Tanza. Now, this is a side-scrolling action game. I think that's the best way to go about this. It definitely has elements from Strider, Capcom's arcade game, but I will say this game is much, much faster. It is very fast. I mean, you have to be quick. Like, you have to have responses of a cat. You have to have those sort of reflexes when playing this. I'll probably concede that even this is probably a bit hard for me. It's quite hard for me. I've got to the 3rd level on this game. You know, again, it's developed by Michael Tellender, who's an artist for Megacat and a developer for them, and a few other people were involved. But a great little game here. We have a game that's very, very fast paced in how it runs. And as you can see here, look at that. And one thing I love about this game is it has this really nice techno beat soundtrack to it. It's got a really cool soundtrack. It keeps you going with the pace of the game. Let's go, boom, boom, boom. The controls are tight. The game plays brilliantly. I like the art style. Everything about this game I generally like. It's just really hard for me. And I think that's to do with me, my age, or skill issues, or whatever. This is definitely one for Sir Dan, because he's good at stuff like this. I know this is his cup of tea. And it definitely has that sort of Sega arcade, you know, action feel to it. The first boss is essential. The first level is actually an introductory level. The idea, again, is to collect as much gold as you can level, move to the next level, and you can buy abilities for your mutated character, mutations for it. The whole plot is very wafer thin. Basically, you got to save mankind from some alien invasion, or something's happened. They've come and they've mutated, or they're mutating, human beings across the world. There's like this boss where there's this man who's been hung or whatever, and he's got like some alien in his belly, put things out. So you have some interesting art design with the bosses and villains in this thing. But I like it for what it is, from what I've played. Right, Jose, what do you think of this game? What your impression?
I actually really enjoyed this game. I like the quickness of it. I like the soundtrack. I like the look. And then just like it, the enemies are just kind of crazy. It almost looks like at some point you're like fucking like fighting like the people on the Oregon Trail, because you got the horse in the wagon.
Yeah, and there's the boss I told you about. He's got some little xenomorph coming out of his belly. There it is. So very interesting. He's out there.
It's really fun. It's one I'm gonna keep going back to.
Yeah. There's something about this game that makes you come back to. I just want something quick. I can get in there and bam, bam, bam.
That's what I like, because I did once I got to the 2nd level, I kept dying, but I was like, I just want to keep playing it. Like the music wants me to keep going.
Yeah, it's the music, isn't it? It keeps you pumping. You want to get in there. You feel like you're with the game, one with the game, you know. But yeah, thanks for that. Oh God, here we go. I'm scared to even ask Sir Joe's opinion, because I know like he's going to complain about how difficult it is. But let's see what he has to say. Go on, Sir Joe. Go on, chew your munchies up. Go on, tell us what it is you have to say about this game. There we go.
If there's one thing maybe that will remind me of this game, it's like, why am I fighting the face of Beavis and Butthead?
What do you mean by Beavis? What do you mean?
Oh, there's I don't know. There are a couple of enemies here that you'll see the face of Beavis.
Okay.
I'm like, this game is very frantic, and I'm saying that with the most positive way as possible. Okay, frantic in a way that, because you're dealing with your semi projectile here, but when you do some certain jumps, it tumbles, and that tumbling also deals damage to your enemies as well. So, so Viraj is right. It does kind of give that Strider hear you kind of gameplay, especially the way his projectile works. The enemy, I agree also with Sir Jose here. Like the enemy designs does not match well with the character that you're using. Like it's just way out there. In regarding with the with the post stage shop here, I was pretty sure I'm getting all of the gold coins, but there's still not enough once you go to the shop. I'm like, okay,
Mm,
and mind you, I'm not even sure what does each of those shop items do
so
in the
they give
long
your item.
run.
Yeah, so there's a button that allows you to mutate, and you can select it,
Yeah.
and it gives you extra
So
abilities to take out bosses. So you
yeah.
get extra powers if you buy them,
So
and
in
it's
terms
written.
of in terms of replayability
Mm,
value, then you'd be curious on, okay, what does this do? What does this
mm,
do? How can you use this to your advantage and all that?
mm,
And it's a little bit weird. I mean, why am I fighting?
mm.
Am I fighting people? Either they're hanging,
Yeah,
or either they're hanging, or
yeah,
they're crucified.
yeah.
Uh, a little bit, it's a little bit weird, and um,
Kind of gives me Atomic Runner vibes in terms of the speed of this game, and you move.
Atomic Runner. Oh yeah. Um, no,
Similar.
with Atomic Runner, he runs slow though. Atomic
He
Runner.
does, and but the stage does push you to
This
run.
guy is faster though.
Yeah, he's faster. This is a very fast game. Yeah, that's for sure.
It's a very fast game.
One of my critiques with this is, I mean, I suppose it's meant to be like an arcade style game because you've got a score at the end and you've got to beat it. There's no SRAM support. There's no saving in this game. You have to beat it in one run. So this really is a tough mother of a game.
There is the save state function, but you need like 500 coins, gold
Right.
coins to afford that one.
Whoa. Okay.
Which
Fair enough.
I'm like, and like, so by the time you're able to afford the save state, the game's already over.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe it probably will be, but anyway.
Well, what's the point of that then?
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, this is a 2019 release, so it's still a relatively recent game. But yeah, pretty fun. Let's have a look at the comment section here. Juggernaut says a Megadrive indie showcase that hasn't featured Xenocrisis yet. Funny, this is that's actually the next game we're gonna get to. Darren Power says, being a kid, grew up with a NES, it's hard to listen to people cry about games being hard. Great. And then Lucy Pender decided to, he's talking about some Dreamcast games, James talking about, and everyone crying about Silksong. Right. Okay. Yes, a new game that's coming out. People saying it's difficult, but anyway. Move on. So let's move on to the next game. Next game is Xenocrisis. That's the game I want to talk about next. Now, Xenocrisis it's a game. It's a game for the Mega Drive. It's a game and a half. Again, I would say it's still a difficult game. It's still a challenging game. I don't think it's as hard as Tanzer is in terms of its intensity, but it can get quite intense. Now, this game was developed by BitMap Bureau. And now they've actually ported this on pretty much every format now. There's a Super Nintendo one that's come out, and the only way you can play it is on the Super Nintendo because it cannot be emulated yet. I've got the Game Boy Advance copy of this game, and that plays really interesting. But the Mega Drive was the original version of this game. It's a 6-button game. You can play it with 3 buttons, but you want to play it with 6 because the other buttons act as like a D-pad in regards to where you can shoot. It's basically a battle arena game. That's basically it. So in the same vein as Smash TV, I don't know if you've ever played that, but yes, it's in the same vein as the BitMap Brothers, hence why it's called BitMap Bureau. It's the same sort of like tribute they want to play to the original developers of Smash TV, and this has a lot of that sort of battle arena to it. So basically, the short of it is the aliens have invaded, and you and a player, so it's 2-player. It's a multiplayer game. Have to go through these areas, and you obviously rescue civilians. You have to kill all the aliens in one area, and then move to the next, and then eventually face off a boss. And you can pick up some powerful weapons that are on a timer or whatever to clear the area quicker. I've got up to I think the penultimate level, and I died, and that was only with 2-player. This game, I have to stress, this is a very, very, very tough game, for me. And I still have yet to beat it, but it's a game very much like Tanzer that keeps me coming back to more. Keeps me coming back for more. I love the art style. I love the presentation, and I really love the music. So the music was designed by a guy called Savage Regime. He's an FM synth genius because he idolizes Yuzo Koshiro. And he makes some really great FM synth tracks. You're welcome to look at his YouTube channel. He's got a few mixes on OC Remix under the name Gecko Yumori. I followed him for years, and now he's making actual music for these sort of video games. So major props to him, because it's the music that's a large part of these sort of games that keeps you pumped and keeps you going, and the music needs to be in sync with the kind of game you're playing. So major props to the sound department for this. Again, look at that boss. Look at that sprite. I mean, that's a huge Megadrive sprite there. Look at that. I mean, when I faced that, I thought, what on earth is that? You know, what is this big mother doing here? So, you know, for me, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun, this game. And it's a game, even though it punishes you, and this game will punish you, it's just a game that will keep you coming back for more. And that's kind of like it's got that arcade feel. That's what I'll say. It's definitely got a very strong arcade feel. And yes, once you pick up these dog tags and you in the levels, you'll be able to use them as currency to buy extra abilities for your character from the next level. And you'll see that in this demo clip shortly. But I'm interested to see what you have to say, Jose, and we'll go to Joe as well. What do you think of this game? What are your impressions of it?
This game I really liked. I liked the sprite artwork on it. Everything it really detailed, even like the smaller characters that you fight. This when I saw this was amazing. I wasn't expecting to see something like that. Yeah. The music is really good, and I'm coming from someone who liked playing Super Smash Bros. I mean Smash TV. Yeah. So this was right up my alley. The boss, I think the hardest part for me, I only played up to the first boss, was the boss is where I kept dying. But I eventually I beat him, and then that's where I stopped. But this is a game that I'm gonna go back to, especially because it's available everywhere, like you said. So
it's on every format. They've released it on Mega Drive, Super Nintendo's most recent one, Game Boy Advance is another recent one. It's on Dreamcast. It's on Nintendo 64. My friend Juggernaut in the comment section, he's got this on every format. He's a big fan of this game. He loves this game. It's available on, I think it's even on Steam. It's available on Steam. It's available on new consoles. It's on Xbox. My friend, I played the Xbox version, and it's easier to play because obviously if you've got like a controller with 2 analog sticks, a lot easier to sort of get around. I think it's available on Switch as well. So yes, it's available. So you can. It's easy to use one stick to point in whatever direction it is, and the other to direct your character. And the other 2 buttons can be for your grenade and for you to roll. I think with the first boss, you have to learn to roll and dodge. Really, a lot of it is to do with life preservation and be able to dodge the fire and roll under and whatever and shoot the enemies and be very strategic. It's a very, very intense game. And it really makes it's a lot easier when you're playing with 2 players and the other player is skilled, if not better than you at this. So it's a lot of fun. And as you can see, he's picking up dog tag. This is the second level. Here we go. The first boss is harder than the second one I found, but then there's a level where there isn't a boss at all, but the level itself is hard. And then you get into this facility, and there is a story that you follow here. Xenocrisis, obviously it's inspired from the Alien movies, in terms of what you find here and all sorts of things. Like there's like a little egg with the little thing that comes out, which is clearly like a rip-off of the face huggers from the Alien films. But yeah, look, who's knocking? I don't knock it for that. I think it's cool. It's inspired by it and good for it, I say. But glad to hear your thoughts on that. All right, what about you, Sir Joe? What do you have to say about this game?
I mean, not all shooting games must emulate Contra. And
how does this emulate Contra? Contra is a side scroll. This is a top down.
No. What I'm saying is not when I think Contra is being held in such high regard that every shooting game, it kind of holds Contra in such a being held as a measuring stick. I say that because growing up playing Contra all the time, I really don't like it when your ammunition tends to run in a limited manner. So you end up losing ammunition here. So you really need to be wise on when to shoot and not waste too many bullets. Although the game will still give you some ammunition, of course. I mean, it's not too stingy enough.
There and I'm like, running towards it. There we go. That's it.
I'm like, if you're gonna do that, then just give me unlimited ammo. Then what are we doing?
That'll be too easy.
And I'm like, okay, sure. Like I said, not every shooting game must emulate Contra, where you get unlimited ammunition. Just shoot whenever, whatever. It will never run out. Yeah. Okay. And I don't know. And saying this now, and this is, and I'm not saying this as a snarky kind of comment.
Hmm.
Since when having a post game or a post stage shop is a thing?
Why
Like,
not? You know,
no, why even bother?
what do you mean, why even bother? Well, hang about. You can get
I mean,
items. So you can
oh,
get things to
oh, fine.
enhance the
So
game, and
if
they can carry
if
more ammo for
if
beginning.
if it gives a little bit more more variety, sure. If it gives your game a little bit more oomph, sure. Okay, I get that. But I'm not saying be generous, but don't be stingy as well. Okay. Uh, that being said, like Sir Jose mentioned here, the detail work on this game, the visuals, I have no complaints. They look great. Okay. In some cases, there's some enemies here uh, that might not go down if you're neglecting to power up your weapons. The post stage shop is there for a reason because they made it that way. It gives a little bit more challenge. Yada yada yada.
Hmm.
Like, the controls here might be a little is something that new gamers might not be very familiar with, and I'm using the 6 button controller here.
Yeah.
Um, you just don't go pressing A to shoot. Okay,
Hmm.
if my memory serves correct, pressing X will shoot left, pressing Y will shoot up,
Yeah.
pressing B will shoot right, and
Yeah.
pressing A shoots
Down.
down.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So the
Better than
C
C.
button will throw a grenade, I think, and
Yeah.
and
That is
Z
roll.
will make you roll.
Hmm.
So you really need to familiarize yourself
Yeah.
with how to use all 6 buttons here. The direction. Don't be fooled by using the D-pad. The D-pad will just make the character move left, right, up, down. But the shooting itself, yeah, you need to get used to pressing A,
Hmm.
B, X, and Y effectively. And when I
Hmm.
say effectively, also efficiently. Okay, your ammunition will is limited here, so make every shot count. That's all about. That's all about. I'm all about to say.
Yeah.
I did manage to reach level 3 here, and out of all the 6 games that we have, this game is, well, save for PR Solar. This game is the game that I dislike the least.
Hmm. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm obviously tip it because you're an RPG man, but I can. That's fair enough. I mean, I appreciate that. I mean, this game. Let's not and ah about it. This game is hard. It's made to be hard. Okay, and as the shop adds extra variety, you can add extra hearts. You can add extra grenades to your arsenal. You can add extra bullets in your gun. You have like a gas mask. If you collect enough doggy tags, you can buy it. So there you go. So Juggernaut said Xeno's probably the most polished indie game on the platform. It's the whole package, and the twist at the end in the true ending was totally unexpected the first time around. So it's an interesting story, I guess, to be there if you reach it. Okay, so obviously you've asked him to see the copies, so that'd be good. But I think he actually asked me because he lives in a place. He actually got his Game Boy Advance copy from me because I managed to get more than one copy, and I sent it to him because they don't ship to his address. So he's got that. Because me, that's the only reason. But no, I'm happy that he's got the copy because, you know, he's a collector, Mr. Juggernaut. He loves this sort of stuff. And, you know, what other game could you want to collect every copy for, you know, for every format than this? Is actually really interesting. And there are differences in every version. So the SNES one has a bit more sound effects, a bit more polish to it and how it plays. Also the control.
I was looking at that one right now on their website.
They actually did they did a console wars review, and they compared the Mega Drive to the SNES one. The SNES one came out on top, but compared to the Mega Drive one, which is interesting. But the Mega Drive was the first one, and they had to put enhancement chips in the cartridge just to get this to run on Super Nintendo. So they've actually done a lot of work with the SNES version. So there's something special about that. You just lose resolution with the SNES one. Remember, you got that little crop screen output that SNES has, which Mega Drive doesn't have. But then there's the Dreamcast version. I remember being told the N64 version is somebody's least favorite for some reason. But it's also available on the newer systems. Like if you want to like play this cheap on Steam, very easy to get cheap. You know, I don't know if it was even free at one point, but this is a game that's a must play. I would say definitely. But anyway, move on to the next game. Let's move on to the next game. So the next game we'll move on to is our final game, and that's a little known game that's just come out this year. It's a brand new game for the Megadrive. It's called ZPF. I mean, Xeno Crisis is 2019, just like Tanza, but this is a brand new one, ZPF. So ZPF is a horizontal shoot 'em up. You know, it's a shooter. It's pretty much as simple as that. And it's not a conventional shooter. I'd say it's an unconventional shooter where you've got this vessel and you have a choice of 3 vessels and you have 3 buttons. It's a 3-button game, so you don't need 6 buttons. That's one of the things about this game, which is pretty cool. You know, you don't need to have a 6-button controller. And the benefit of that is, well, you save money, don't you? You can just use your normal 3-button controller. Again, made by Michael Tillander. So the same guy who did Tanza is behind this, and Megacats have published this. With this game, you got a button that shoots your weapon. You got a melee mode, which is interesting, where there's like a weapon on your ship that's like a whip or something that attacks enemies near you, which I haven't really seen in a shooter before. So it's unconventional in that respect. I think the other button, I forgot what the other button did. I think it's to do with speed. But again, I haven't played it that much, as you can tell. But it's quite a fun, fast-paced shooter with an interesting art style. It's very colorful. That's one thing I've noticed about this game. And shooters usually have a darker palette on the Mega Drive. But this one, when you get into that first level and you play as your ship or whatever ship you choose, you have like a nice sort of turquoise blue background. You've got parallax scrolling, and you have a lot of enemies going towards you. And again, you pick up currency. There's a shop at the end of the first level, and you can get extra, bits for your ship. So, you have other power-ups. I think maybe it's an interesting correlation from the game before this and the one after, and same with Demons of Asterborg and all these other games. There's a little shop where you can enhance your character before you go to the next level. But yeah, it's a good little game, and it's one that I'd recommend. I mean, there was Eartheon, and I noticed somebody in the comment section mentioned, are you going to talk about Eartheon? Now, I was going to talk about it, but the game isn't officially been released until next year, and that's developed by Yuzo Koshiro, and that's available on Steam now. And that's more of a conventional shoot, which is outstanding. But this is currently out on the Mega Drive, and I wanted to cover this thing. But yeah, it's a very nice new game. As you can see, it's not like your typical ship that this guy's got now. It's actually it's a knight with a shield that's flying and shooting enemies. It's tricky, and the difficulty curve gets quite hard as you go from one level to the other, because you got a lot of projectiles coming at you. But that's the nature of challenging shooters. It's just the way it is. But I like the art style, I like the music, and I like the way the game plays. So that's my short sort of thoughts on this game from the limited time I've played this. What about yourself, Jose? What do you think of this game?
I like this game because I really like shoot 'em ups. So this was like another game that I knew I would enjoy right away. There is one part where you say like it's super colorful. There's one part where like everything was so bright that it was kind of just like blending together.
Oh my god!
It was kind of hard to see
too much
going on.
Too much color.
And I was like,
"Oh my god! Pick one." Too dark or too bright,
right? But it looked like it was just that part of the level, but it was still just like kind of like, whoa, like what's going on here? But other than that, I really liked it. The melee thing is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, wait, isn't this a shooting up? Why is there? I went to the controls first just so I could see what they were.
Yeah. And
it said melee, and I was like, isn't this a shoot 'em up? Like, why is there melee?
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I'm confused. Maybe it's not a shoot 'em up. And then, I use it, and it's literally just like a little attack that's just directly around the ship that I picked.
Useless. Like, what the hell is that for? I mean,
yeah, I don't think I ever used it. This is the part of the level where there's too much color.
Too much color. Too much. The back. I think it's the case of that. The color is so blinding.
Yeah.
And maybe the enemies sort of blend in with that color in the background. You're like, okay, you can't tell the difference between where the background is and where the enemy is. And it's like they're camouflaged. So it's like you miss it. So I will concede to that criticism for this game. It's something that they could have improved on or should have been mindful of when developing it. Other than that, I still like the way it plays. The controls are pretty tight.
Yeah,
in the same way
a really
Tanza
good
was.
game.
Yeah. So again, same guy who was behind Tanza. So again, I was actually very, very excited when ZMPF was talked about and released. So yeah, I'd say it goes on to become a relatively solid shooter for the Mega Drive. I wouldn't say it's like the best shooter, but it still is decent for what it is. So that's my thoughts on that. What about you, Sir Joe? What do you think? Same as what Mr. Jose said, or what's your thoughts on it?
One of the things I like about this game is that you don't have to chase all of the gold coins on screen. Once you beat the enemy, those gold coins go straight to the bank. Okay, you don't have to chase them, so you can just go on ahead and keep on shooting the enemies as you see fit. All right, because sometimes with the shooters, well, in my case anyway, that I'm so bothered by not catching all of those special power ups or those coins that I end up going out of my just to get those, and then I end up getting shot by a stray bullet. And this one, just avoid getting hit. All those coins will just go straight to you. If there's a few things, maybe just the power ups, maybe the 1-ups and the power ups. Yeah, you need to chase those, of course. In regarding, and if there's also one positive thing that I can say, the bullets here, the enemy bullets here, the ammunition from the enemies, they are so well outlined that you can actually see them coming. One of the things that I usually complain about the shooters is that either the bullets are too small or they're blending way too much up to the background, that it's very difficult to distinguish them apart from a normal debris or an actual an actual bullet coming at you.
Yeah.
It was simple. So that being said, it's simple enough for me to play. I think I was able to reach level 3 before I ran out of continues. So it is one of those games that if I manage to get through stage 3 with semi decent difficulty, then you might end up getting further than I did. All right.
Yeah.
The visuals here, I'm not sure. It kind of looked like they've drawn everything using watercolor.
It's like a very bright neon look to it, and that's really interesting because the Mega Drive
like it though.
But it's very bright. It's very bright, and it's really interesting because the Mega Drive often gets criticism as having darker colors or a limited color palette compared to Super Nintendo. But here's this thing with these really bright, vibrant colors, but it's just too bright, and it's just a bit of a weird one what they went with. But hey, listen, that's the game. It is what it is. And yes, whilst that's a critique, I still think it's a solid game for what it is. And, you know, I'd say that all 6 of the games that we've talked about are generally solid and quite fun games to get through. Yes, they have their flaws. They have their issues. I probably think this is probably the most flawed out of the 6 because of that color, because it affects the gameplay fundamentally. You know, if you can't see the projectiles, if you can't see the enemies, well, good are you? You know, I think that's a really big red flag, you could argue, when it comes to shooters. If you can't see it, you're at an unfair advantage. And whilst these games are built to be challenged, why are you robbing us of enjoying the game and being fair? I mean, you want to have a half odds to get away from a fight. This is less than half because of you're impaired by your vision. It depends on how your eyes see it. You know, for someone like me who's 20/20, even I'll have difficulties. So that says something.
In the shop here. One thing I remembered. So the shop, the post stage shop here. One of the shop items is like half the enemy ammunition, which basically what it means, just half the ammunition that the enemy throws at you. Waste of money, guys. Ignore that. It means nothing. That shit means nothing. Even with the half ammunition, all right, it does not change anything. Um, even without buying that one, you still have to avoid a significant amount of ammunition coming from the enemies. Yeah, I'd say just save the cash for something else like power ups or even more continuous if you have enough.
Okay. That's
I tried that, because I'm trying to make it easier for myself. Okay, ooh, half the ammunition. Okay, I'll buy that. Nope, pretty much the
fair
same.
enough. Okay, that's pretty cool. I think that this pretty much concludes the 6 games. I think we've got quite a bit of time, so we could do some honorable mentions of some other games for the Mega Drive. And so, I know that recently there's a game. I don't know if you can find it. It's a free game. This is freeware, and this is another great thing about the Mega Drive. Not only are there games that you have to sort of pay for because it's independent developers, but there's a lot of developers developing games on itch.io that are free. You can just download for free, put in your EverDrive cart, and play it. So there's one game in question. It requires it's a versus fighting game. So I noticed how we've picked 6 games which are different genres from each other, generally speaking. So we haven't really covered the versus fight. This thing's just literally come out, like a week ago. This is a brand new game. So the game in question is called Kunio no Neketsu School Fighters, aka
Kunio
City
game.
Fighters. Okay. Yeah, so it's called River City
River
Fighters.
City
It's literally just come out on the Mega Drive. So what they've done is they've ripped the sprite from the River City Girls game on the Switch or the new indie game by Way Forward and Arc Systems Works, and they've basically made a versus fighter game on it. So yeah, if you just look it up, I think they've already got videos of it on YouTube of what it is, and they've basically got the characters you fight. You pick on the game. It's a true 6-button fighter, so it's not just some 3-button button basher. This is like a technical fighter where you have different kicks and punches. You got bonus levels. You have to sort of shoot the balls in the game. So it's an interesting one, and I've played it for a bit. And there you go. We got a video of it. So this is a new sort of game that you can play. Again, it's freeware. They can't make money out of it because they're using the assets of the games for that they've released recently by Tech. Well, Technos is really no more. The rights are sort of much owned by Arc System Works, and Way Forward developed the game. But yeah, it's beautifully animated. They've actually captured the animation from the River City Girls games for Nintendo Switch, which I want to promote as well. They're really good. That's more of a side-scrolling beat-em-up adventure game, whereas this is a true versus fighter, which uses those sort of mechanics from those games, but they've just made it. And again, it's a free download you can play on Mega Drive. How amazing is that, right? Again, if you look at the graphics and the animation, it's cartoony, it's fun. It is fun. Trust me, it's a lot of fun just watching it, and it just draws you in. And that's Mariam from the Double Dragon game. So they've obviously they share characters, because they're part of the same Technos Japan universe. So you have
that's a girl. Okay.
Yeah. So you got some pretty women in here that you like. But anyway, not on the level of SNK and Capcom, but definitely that's a boss character in the Double Dragon called I can't remember his name, Barbardo, whatever his name was. But anyway, you get to play as him. As well, you can use him. You got obviously different color. You can choose what outfit he wants to have him wear, and he takes on a fight. So again, definitely a game that you can play on your own and with someone else. It's again a 2-player game in the same vein. Xenocrisis.
Bobo.
Yeah, Bobo. That's the name of Bobo. Yeah, that's his name. But yeah, it's obviously they've kept the Japanese character names, But yeah, it's my thoughts on that. What are your thoughts on this? So Jose, what did you think?
When you started to speak of honorable mentions, I was going to ask you, is there a fighting game?
Oh well, there we go.
And you went straight to it.
Straight to it. Yeah.
And this looks really fun. And I already looked it up, and I'm gonna play this.
There we go. Look, I've got someone. I've made someone happy. The controls are quite tight on it. I was actually surprised at how well it played. So definitely worth checking out. Check it out. Enjoy it. I think you can't go wrong with this game at all. It's free as well. It's freeware. Just enjoy it. So we have that. What do you think, Sergio? What's your thoughts on this? Just from looking at it.
No, I mean it looks good.
Yeah.
Um, like we mentioned earlier, there's not a lot of fighting games variety. Well, at least the good ones anyway for the Mega Drive. I mean, what
Yeah.
do you have except for Mortal Kombat
And
and
Street Fighter.
Eternal Champions? I mean, what else do we have? Fatal
Mm.
Fury, kind of sure.
Samurai Shodown.
Um,
Yeah.
I would say uh, I'd say give this game a try for you Sega 16-bit gamers out there who are also into the fighting genre. This might be a good a good distraction away from the usual mainstream fighting games out there. I mean, certainly some of the move sets here might be inspired from other fighting games. I already
Yeah.
can see a few,
Yeah, there are
that
some
doesn't-
ranged attacks
yeah.
as well that you can pull off, and there's some mechanics there. And there is a little manual that you can sort of download, and you'll find all that in there with this game. So it's got a lovely presentation for what it is, and it's definitely one worth playing. So
I like
I'm
how
glad-
fluid it is.
It's fluid, yeah. It plays really
Kinda-
well. It's free.
It kind of reminds me of the Scott Pilgrim games.
Yeah.
If okay, the best way I can describe this game, if
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World is a fighting game
Mm,
in 16-bit Sega fashion, this would
Mm.
be it.
yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Right, so moving on, I think we've still got some more time, so I'll just throw in another game out there that's not out yet, but it's something we can look forward to. The game in question is one that Juggernaut in the comments section has helped with the Kickstarter, and it's still going to be freeware. It's called Final Fight MD. Now, we all know about Final Fight. It was a Super Nintendo. First console was released on Super Nintendo. There was a much nicer version on Sega CD, but who's got a Sega CD and how accessible is that game? Well, that is a really nice port of the arcade classic, and it's the most definitive way to play it on a home console, I would say now. I mean, there might have been other ports on PlayStation and whatever. There was Final Fight 1 on Game Boy Advance too, but Final Fight MD is correcting one of history's wrongs, because I always felt that the Mega Drive should have had more beat 'em ups. I mean, Streets of Rage is an outstanding beat 'em up series, and it will always be my favorite. But Final Fight MD is a new game that's just been developed. There's a prototype out there. There's a demo you can download and play if you want to check it out. Just the first level, but you get to choose more than one player to choose. So you've got like Maki you can choose from as well. She's an additional character. I think the last thing I heard was it can actually, they're eventually going to do I think they will offer 3 simultaneous players at one when this game is released. So you better play 3 player at once. That's pretty cool, right? When it is released. So there's Maki, as you can see. There's the appeal for you, Sir Joe. But you have.
I love the way that they animated the boobs to bounce here, as they should. Freaking Nintendo censoring it.
Yeah. Okay. So you got her. You have a really.
They
good
did
sound.
Mackie right here. Okay.
Okay. So you have this. You have the controls are tight. The soundtrack is good.
Yeah, that is tight. Yeah, I can tell that's tight right there.
I think we can play. We can concede already from just looking at it. It's going to be better than the Super Nintendo one, but of course it is. But I do think this could very well be the better way of playing this game when it is released, which would be soon. I don't know. I'll have to ask Juggernaut, because he's sort of funded the little Kickstarter to try and get this out there. So another one. Your thoughts, gentlemen, quickly on this one. Jose?
This looks like it's gonna be really good. I like Final Fight, and the problem with the Super Nintendo one was that there was only the 2
one player
characters.
only.
Yeah, and the one player, and then there was a whole other separate game just to fucking be Guy. That was dumb.
And not enough villains. It didn't have the,
Yeah.
it didn't have the power to have all the villains on the screen at once. So it was a
But
very easy way through. So.
It is a game I like to play, and I pretty much go to all versions of it. So to have a new version is going to be fun to be able to throw in the rotation.
Yeah, and it's great because if they do it, because I could be wrong, but I'm sure I'm right, that 3 simultaneous players, that's really cool. There are days where I fantasize that somebody does a hack for Golden Axe so we can play as all 3 characters at once. That'd be so cool going on that adventure. But yeah, 3 players at once. You can have, it's not restricted to just 2 players. So that'd be really cool to have a 3 simultaneous player beat 'em up. There's not much of that out there. It's usually just 2, but that's awesome. So I'm looking forward to this game, which is upcoming for Mega Drive 3-ware. There's another one that I want to throw out here with you. And this is a wild card, and he's been making it for years. His name's Pigsy. That's his name. He's got a YouTube channel, Pigsy, and he does guides, and he does a step-by-step guide on a huge undertaking he's doing. And the game in question, okay, is called Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Yes, they're looking to port Symphony of the Night for Sega Mega Drive. I am not kidding you here. It's a D-make, all right? And it looks good. So far, it's good. There are a few little demos that he's done, little samples of how it will play. It's not like a proper like actual demo of it yet, but you can find it on YouTube. See if you can find a video of that. I've listened to the music on this thing. It's outstanding from the samples I've heard that they're making. He's painstakingly doing the art. So he's got a lot of people helping him, the team, in terms of the music and the programming. So he's got Gabriel Pyron, who's known in the ROM hacking community, is creating really good enhanced ports for ROM hacks on the Mega Drive. So I know he did a new arcade color palette for Outrun and Super Hang-On and all sorts of other games. But yeah, we're going to see this game on Sega Genesis. Obviously, it'll be interesting to see how it plays, and it'll be interesting to see when it's released, because obviously it will have differences from the original PlayStation Sega Saturn game in terms of the castle layout. I'm sure there'll be a difference. So in essence, it will be a bit of a newer experience to this game. I'm not saying it's the same, but it'll be interesting to see what they go with it. So here's like a sort of rough demo of like how the graphics and all that will look, and the transparencies and level of transitions and how that will all work. So it'll be interesting. Will it be a Metroidvania style game, or will it be a more linear experience? And that's one of the things that I'm a bit curious about as to how he's going to develop this. But we'll know when it's released, I guess. What about you gents? What are your thoughts on them porting this to the Mega Drive? Starting with you, Jose. Jose, what's going
on? I think it's cool. I always think it's cool whenever they put like a newer game on an older console that it wasn't obviously built for. I was looking at his thing, and it was saying something about possibly adding a 2-player mode too. So it'd be interesting to see, and I want to hear what it sounds like, because the Mega Drive sound is very unique, and I think that it could lend well to the soundtrack for this game.
There was one soundtrack I heard on this, and that sounded really clean and crisp, and I liked it. But we'll have to see if there's a consistency with all the different soundtracks that go there. I believe that Savage Regime is doing the sound. So the guy who did Xenocrisis, he's helping with the sound on this. So it's in safe hands, but we'll see. So I'm looking forward to this. But yeah, that's something to look forward to. We'll finish up with one more upcoming game that was mentioned in the comment section, and that's Eartheon. Now, that's a game that's just come out on Steam, so you can buy it now, play it now. It's like $15, so it's not a lot of money to play on Steam. It will be available on PlayStation and Switch. I've pre-ordered the physical version on Switch. Now, that is a conventional shooter, so unlike ZPF, it's a shooting game. Now, this thing was developed by Ancient, which is Yuzo Koshiro's own company. Now, those of you who don't know who Yuzo Koshiro is, I'm sure you all do. He's a phenomenal sound FM synthesis artist. Like his soundtracks across, if we're talking Mega Drive, if we're talking, the MSX systems, he did music for that, and NEC PC 88 systems, he did the music for Yeez. He also did the music for Actrays on Super Nintendo. So he's a really good artist when it comes to sound, and he was behind Streets of Rage, of course, and Naruto Shinobi on Mega Drive. He's doing this game with his studio, and if you look at this game, it's outstanding. And you got things coming from the foreground into the background. You got a nice parallax running in the background. You have ships coming from the background to the foreground. You got a lot of use of that Mega Drive hardware being absolutely used to the pinnacle. You have great coloring, great detail. This is a true 6-button shooter, so it actually uses all the buttons on this, and one button will combine 2 weapons in one. One will just be if you want to use that weapon, that one. Again, like there's just a lot of detail, a lot going on there. So whilst it'll work on Mega Drive, and the Mega Drive version has been delayed until 2026, sadly. It was meant to come out, but they didn't realize just how difficult it was to manufacture all the cartridges and getting it out there. But this is a game to look forward to for Mega Drive fans. Again, it's available on Steam, will be available on consoles before Mega Drive. But those who are fans of the Mega Drive, I'm sure the fans know about this already. I'm just going over old rope here. But this is, an outstanding game, and I look forward to it. They have, sadly, Yuzo Koshiro said it on his own Twitter that somebody's actually ripped the ROM from the Steam version and converted it to be playing on the Mega Drive. Although that version is a prototype, and it's not the full game, to be fair. You can play it and enjoy it, but it's not the same as the actual game is. There are bits missing where there's certain sound cues, there's certain features. So that's something that was mentioned, and it's something that I'm aware of. I've pre-ordered this game, even though I've got the revised Mega Drive ROM, which sort of patches up all the issues that the prototype ROM had. But even then, I'm still going to play this game out of respect. Obviously, this one that's being played now is the console version. You can tell from the buttons there. But this is a really good triumph for Mega Drive, and it's something that I'm looking forward to the next year when it actually comes out on physical, because it is a game worth buying. I'm going to have the Switch version anyway. I'm happy with, but it will be a Mega Drive game that I will play. Your thoughts on this particular game from just looking at it?
I was actually contemplating pre-ordering this game as well. So I think I might have to do it. I might have to get it on a couple of different consoles just to have it, because it looks really fun.
It is. One thing that really gripped my attention is when you get into that first level and you see that ship push out from the ship into the foreground and come into the back again and then back to normal, and you're in there and you're going in there. The music is just banging. It just goes with you, and you're just enthralled, and you want to play and go on this space adventure. Another thing as well that isn't shown in this video is there's bits of art in there and little bits of the story that follow. So that's really interesting too. There's a narrative with this. Kind of reminds me of another shoot 'em up on the Mega Drive a little bit in terms of how it plays. It was a Japanese only release. I don't know if you've ever heard of this game. It's called Gleylancer, Advanced Bustle Gleylancer. That had a recent release with, I think, Retrobit made a physical release of that game recently. But this has a similar vibe to it. But this is a game that I definitely want to sort of enjoy and revel in when it comes out, when I'll play it on the Switch. But the Mega Drive version is going to might have some extra additions that's been hinted. That'll be next year, but we'll see. So yeah, that pretty much I think sums up the Mega Drive is a system that just won't die. There's just so much going on. There's so many games that I even haven't mentioned that other developers are making. I'd like to sort of give credit to a shout out to Retro Gamer Boy, and he's got this amazing YouTube channel, and he actually covers all the new Mega Drive stuff. He's actually there. If there's a new Mega Drive game worth talking about, he'll put it out there. So mad credits and kudos to him. But yeah, that pretty much sums up this episode in a nutshell. The Mega Drive, clearly, if you've played, it still has a vast library of games that you may have not touched. But if you're done with the Mega Drive and you want something new, well, the games that I've mentioned, there's a lot more.
Nice.
And this, so again, take your pick. There's a game of every genre that you might be into that are really relatively good that you might want to try. Yes, they have their critiques. No game is really perfect, but these are actually, I would say, very much above average and definitely worth your time. So, yes, that's my final thoughts on that. What about you two gentlemen?
Yeah, I think there's a lot here for people to choose from. Like Sergio said, there is some similarity between some of them, and you can see what kind of game you favor.
Yeah,
but there's still a good selection. You got your shoot 'em ups, you got your action adventure, your side scrolling, you got your RPG. I think there's going to be something, at least from these 6 games. Someone's going to at least like one.
Yes.
Unless you're this guy.
Yeah. This guy, I don't know, man. He's got that face like, am I really that impressed? Have I got the time for this? I don't know. But hey.
Well, no, I'm looking at the actual gameplay footage on my big screen. That's why I'm looking here.
I don't think this game is overly challenging, to be honest, from what I've played on Eartheon. I think it's actually I think that ZPF is a tougher game simply because the color palette's bleeding in. I like it, and it's really interesting because Juggernauts just mentioned, ironically, the soundtrack is the weakest part of Eartheon. The game is that good. that's actually a huge compliment, really, because Yuzo Koshiro soundtrack is outstanding. So if he's saying the game's that good, that means something. But yeah, I think we're done here, unless there's anything else you gents want to say or mention in this episode.
Closing remarks, Sir Jose, go. Sega Challenge, indie games version.
Let's see, they're all good. I think you just got to give them time. Like Life on Mars, it didn't seem like I was gonna like it, but I think if I give it some more time, it's gonna click for me. Pier Solar, I'm definitely gonna buy on Xbox. Xeno Crisis, man, that Super Nintendo one is very tempting. I might have to buy that physical.
I'll get it, because I think that did win in the console wars. They were in a debate on YouTube. You could look at the video console wars, and that won. So yeah,
for sure, I'm gonna. It's on Steam and I think Xbox, so I might pick it up there just so I can play it some more. What else? ZPF, if they could fix that color.
No, it's what it is, isn't it? It's part of the game. What it is. Yeah.
I still want to play it though, and then the mentions, the River City Fighters, that for sure I'm gonna play.
Yeah, I can see you got excited.
The Final Fight Megadrive for sure I want to see, and then this I'm honestly probably gonna end up getting the PlayStation, Switch, and Xbox versions. So
yeah. I mean, did you not like the Demon's Vastable game?
Oh no, I did that. I did like that one. That one for sure. It's on Xbox, and I want to get it.
Yeah, there's different versions, and it's not just if you like that. And Retro Game Boy said this. There's a game that I didn't cover with regret, and it's the sequel called Asta Bros. And he said, without a doubt, that is the best Mega Drive game recently. That's his opinion. I don't agree with it, but I think I haven't given the game a fair chance, to be fair. But that's another one worth checking out if he said that, because he's Mr. Mega Drive, this guy. And there's a new one that's just come out this year by Neofid called Demon's Claw. So that's another good little game by Neofid. Neofid are my favorite sort of new up and coming studio for Mega Drive. But I'm glad that you found this an informative episode, because that's what it's objective. And I'm glad that you've sort of taken on board. Actually, I want to get this. I'm glad that I've directed these games in your direction. So I'm happy for you. I'm happy that he's learned something, even though he's got his issues with these games. But I think he needs to finish Pier Solar and get past that first bit, because I think both of you gents, when you get past that first bit and the game develops more, there's more of it. And I know you had your bugbears with the grinding and the MP and all that, but that levels itself out as the game gets progressed through the game. Anyway, that's my thing.
I'm looking because I'm busy looking at the game footage of Eartheon, and would have been nice if Sir Dan was here, because I'm going to ask him.
I'm going to ask him. It'd be nice to hear his opinion, because I did tell him we're going to be streaming. He's not even here. None of the Megabots. I didn't know we're streaming. They didn't even comment.
Because with Sir Dan, he won't shut up about Thunder Force 4. I'm going to ask him between Thunder Force 4 and Eartheon, in my opinion, and this is coming from me, who has not played both games.
He likes Thunder Force 3. That's the one that he'll
3, right? I would give with the overall presentation, I would give it to Eartheon.
Yeah.
And then Thunder Force 2.
I think even Juggernaut actually said to me, objectively, it's the best shooter that's on the Mega Drive, objectively. So he said it, and Juggernaut is another guy who plays a lot of video games. You got a pundit down there in the comment section. So thanks for joining us and letting us know your thoughts, Juggernaut.
You know what? Might as well just have him here in the show.
Yeah.
Juggernaut, if you're interested, be in the show. Final thoughts with me. All right. With the Sega Mega Drive, Sega Genesis, growing up, the fondest memories that I have with the systems, that it's all about the beat 'em up games. Golden Axe and
Rage.
And Streets of Rage. Big shoes to fill. Like any other beat 'em up games, they're always up to the standard. So and I'm like, I mean, looking at the selection that we have right now. Aside from Paprium, aside from Paprium and Final Fight MD, which is basically an SNES game anyway. And I'm
It's
like,
an arcade game. It's an arcade game.
yeah, but
That's what it do
what I'm saying is, what I was hoping for, like
Something new.
another beat 'em up game that I can get immersed to. Yeah, sure, because it doesn't take much of any strategy in there. Just just
I
beat the
think
crap out of everybody. And I'm
it's
like, is there any indie games out there that plays at least decent?
I think
Anyway,
the problem is Streets of Rage sets such a high bar, and even with Streets of Rage
it's
4,
a high bar.
do so. And there is
Yeah.
Streets of Rage remake if you want to give that a go. It's a really good PC fan game if you can find it. That to me is the best beat 'em up ever. Makes a fan game. But there are so many. I mean, it is getting tough. Like, how are we going to do better? And in all fairness, like River City Girls,
You cannot really top Streets of Rage unless
in terms of
unless
arcade beat 'em
you,
up.
you can take liberties and you can take inspirations out of it, but you really need to make sure that you're like you make it your own. Like,
It's a shame because Paprium
Yeah.
from the images had so much promise, but the way it plays is like garbage. Take it from someone who's played it; it doesn't even play as well.
yeah, you guys were making such a big deal of Paprium. I'm like, okay, I'm curious, and then when I saw the
And
gameplay, I'm
finally,
like,
we're waiting, we're getting excited, like, and people like paid a fortune for these things off the bay because they're collectors. And when they played it, they're like, yeah, it's a good game. It's like a really good beat 'em up. And yes, arguably, it's probably one of the better beat 'em ups on the Mega Drive. But what is it competing against? Streets of Rage and Golden Axe, and that's it really. But I would say
No.
that I'd rank Paprium after those two. To be honest, it's still a solid game, but it's not as good as the other two in the way it plays. That's
in
my
terms
opinion.
in terms of an indie homebrew game, sure.
Yeah, but again, with the way Watermelon's going, I think they're going to be a footnote in video game history because of what they did, and they're facing a lot of criticism, and their brand has been tarnished heavily by that whole scandal. Anyway,
So yeah. Anyways, out of all of the
it's not a system.
out of
that
all
will
of
die.
the
It will be around
out of all
forever.
out of all of the games that Sir Viraj mentioned here, Sino Crisis, Pierre Solar for me,
Yeah,
and I would say I would rate the least only because I'm grading Tanzer a little bit the lowest here.
okay.
Lowest meaning, and I'm not saying I hate it. It's just that it's good for what it is, but in terms of the other games that were presented, I'm inching a little bit more on Sino Crisis and Pierre Solar only because of my gaming preferences.
Yeah, that's understandable. I mean, look, there's a new racing game coming out for the Mega Drive. I forgot to mention called Drifting Rage. So that's worth checking out.
Give
We
that
need
to Sir
to-
Joel.
Yeah, that was really. So Joel should have been on the episode to cover that, but sadly
Yeah.
he's not here. But I just want to give it a mention as well. And there's also like some weird shoot 'em up, and there's another shoot 'em up game as well called Copper Storm. And that's another one I would throw out there. But there's loads of games. There's like games that were promoted to be in development, and sometimes I think I'll believe it when I see
You know
it.
what?
Because it's Phantom Gear and it's been in development for years. So there are some Mega Drive games where you get a demo, but it takes years for them to produce it, and you're like, when is it ever going to come out? Is it going to get cancelled? You wonder.
I am so encouraged to say all the bad things about Sega, just so that I can incur Sir Dance Rat and he'll just do a cameo here. I'll say all the bad stuff about Sega, and then he'll just show up and just cuss me out and like, hey, anything just to get him into the show again.
I know. He's got his health issues we know about.
He has his own circumstances. Anyway, that's the show, guys. Thank you all so much. Let's do our quick commercial break, and then we will do our shameless plugs.
Yep.
Start your own online live streams, webinars, podcasts, online classes, and virtual presentations with Streamyard. By using Streamyard's user-friendly interface, you can also do simultaneous multi-streaming if you have accounts to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and other platforms. If live streaming is not your style, video and audio recordings are also available, especially with those who have variable and inconsistent internet connections. The finished output will still come out as clear and well articulated exactly as you originally intended. You can also customize the appearance of your presentation, like green screen effects, facial touch-ups to smoothen out those facial blemishes, multiple cameras for multiple guests joining in the discussion, your own wallpaper on the background, adding your own logo as a watermark, sharing videos from your own computer or other website for added visual aids with or without audio, uploading your own background music if you wish to set the mood when talking, and lots more. Before you can enjoy all of the wonderful full features of Streamyard, you can start with a 14-day free trial by using our link. Not only that you are supporting the Timeless Gamers Show, but you can see it for yourself how easy it is using Streamyard. Do you like playing video games? Do you like reading about history? Do you like learning about video game history? Then you should give yourself the gift of owning some video game history books from BitMap. Since 2014, BitMap Books have published numerous colorful and well-detailed hardbound books about video games ranging from the different video game consoles of old and the various video game genres that will surely pique the interest of its core fanbase. BitMap's team of global video game journalists, players, and illustrators have produced numerous award-winning titles that celebrate the software, hardware, and developers that laid down the foundations for the billion-dollar video game industry we all know and love today. International shipping is also available with careful and considerate packaging from BitMap Books. If you don't want to take my word for it, then you can believe the people, almost 10,000 satisfied customers who submitted their glowing written reviews and video reviews after receiving their books from BitMap. By ordering your first BitMap book using our link, you will also be supporting the Timeless Gamers Show in spreading our love of video games and their rich history. All right, thank you for that, StreamYard and BitMap Books. Shameless plugs, guys. Sir Jose, where can they touch your grass?
You guys can find me on all socials and media platform or social media platforms and gaming platforms. Dark Gothic Fate. I haven't really been posting anything lately, but you can catch my stuff on Instagram and TikTok. Usually is where I do post when I post. I'm on X, all that stuff. And I'm trying to get back to streaming. It just hasn't happened. And that's it for me.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Jose. And Sir Viraj, where can they touch your grass?
Yeah, you can find me on the Sega Genesis group on Facebook. Obviously, on this channel, I do frequent this place every now and then when I can join in the podcast and we talk about some informative thing like we have today. You can find me on X, on Bygone Games UK, as some of you are aware, on the video game reseller for handheld stuff. I'll be trading at the Nottingham gaming market next coming week on the 28th. So it's next Sunday, so that should be fun. But that's where you can find me. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the show.
Might as well give a shout out to the friends down there. They came for you.
Oh, bloody hell. So, yeah, thanks to Darren Power, Juggernaut, Josh Hunt, James Birchall, again, Richard Ryan Ortega, who made a comment, John Ross, who wanted to talk to me about his birthday being 36. I hope you have a happy birthday and you play something if you're still listening, which you're probably not. And Kurt Labrado, is Earthy one of the games? Well, I did cover it for a little bit towards the end, so I hope you're happy. But yeah, those of you who probably just flocked from the Genesis group because I did post this or were in my private sort of DMs or whatever that are into the same sort of things I'm into, I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I did talking about it. But yeah, back to you.
All right, thank you for that, Sir Viraj. And every once in a while, guys, we do our usual Sega challenges here. And to think that for a system that has been discontinued hardware-wise over like the past 30 years, it is a very heartwarming to know that there's still a lot of fan support from the community. And you don't really get that with other discontinued systems, though. So, and say what you will about the Nintendo fans hating on the Sega guys, saying that the Sega is dead. Sega will truly never die
Mm.
unless the fan community support also dies, which I don't think it will, even
No.
for the next few years or so,
Yeah.
to say the least. All right.
Yeah.
You can find me on xnxx.com. Sure.
Mm.
Different kind of X. Just to whore out the show, of course, again, timelessgamers.com, our official website. For all of the if you're okay listening instead of watching, go check us out. The audio versions of our shows
Yeah.
available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other major podcast platforms out there. You can also send us your messages by going to sending them to timelessgamers.com at gmail.com. Timelessgamers.show. Sorry, timelessgamers.show at gmail.com. And of course, we're also introducing again the new streaming platform, Streamer.live. That is STSTREAMR.live. Okay. It's like one of those new streaming websites out there, like Kick and Rumble. It's relatively new, so if you want to get into that one, go on ahead. Of course, you heard earlier from Streamyard. If you're interested on making your own podcast, webinars, online classes, check that out. And there's a 14 free trial by using our link. It's right there on the description below. And of course, BitMap Books. If you're interested on the gaming history, certain franchises, certain gaming genres, check their website. Just go to our link so you can support Countless Gamer Show as well. And that's it, guys. Thank you all so much again for joining us. Next time, our games and our bodies may grow out of date, but our gaming experiences will forever remain. Hey,
Timeless.
us.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye.